I give it a 10. A 10 out of 10 this week of football.
Great.
A 10, man.
A 10.
A fucking 10.
Oh, we swear.
Oh, we're not supposed to do it in the first.
At least in the first 30 seconds.
Oh, gosh. Gee willikers. The YouTube
goodness.
channel's going to get blacklisted now. You know?
We're going to get taken down.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to cuss in the first couple minutes. That was Billy Bob, not me. Guys, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun yesterday watching football. It didn't hurt that, my big bets hit, but I thought like I was the Bills. I can't wait to talk about the Bills, the Eagles pulling out that tough game. I mean,
Eagles.
Wouldn't be so fun to talk about had Riverboat Ron gone for 2, because I think he might have got it.
They were tired.
They were tired.
We
Decided
get that way.
Give them a vet day. Give these guys a vet day. They were tired.
The Eagles on the ropes.
So, anyways, your name's Riverboat Ron.
Yeah. Oh man,
That's not wheeling and dealing.
it's really not.
So, anyways,
Like bumper car Brad.
and then Sunday night was great. We'll talk about that in a second, okay, Kyle? Why don't we start with America's teams? Kyle,
America's
I love
teams.
it when you start with America's teams.
I like America's teams. I love America's teams. I hate the word like. I'm into love.
Okay, good.
And for my America's teams, you know who I really love?
Who do you love?
The Buffalo Bills.
Uh-huh.
I love Josh Allen.
Mhm.
I love tall white guys
Yeah.
that throw the ball
Yeah.
really
All
far
drinks of water.
to fast guys.
Yeah.
And you know what? I also love
You
Aaron
like Brock
Cromer.
Osweiler?
I love Aaron Cromer. I'm out on Brock Osweiler. I'm in on Brock Vereen, and I'm in on Brock Purdy. But as for the Bills, Aaron Cromer, the running game, the mentality, the cream of the crop in the AFC. We saw it yesterday. We saw that secondary, albeit, we had some guys go down, didn't we, in the secondary in Buffalo. But number one America's team, I think the team playing best in the NFL right now, the Buffalo Bills. Number 2, America's team, and we all saw it, the Jets. I feel like everybody and their sister and their mother and their cousin and their Taylor Swift friend, they were all rooting for the Jets. They wanted to see Zach Wilson beat Mahomes. And last night we saw it. I mean, Aaron Rodgers back, all the celebs in the building. People think it's for Kelsey, but Zach Wilson is like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I got something for you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys that I can.
And we're going to talk more about that.
Yeah,
game.
maybe
That's
be
my
decent.
number. That's
Yeah.
my number 2 America's team, the Jets, in a loss. Number 3, the Jaguars. You want to talk about international representation, Nate? We send the Jaguars to London like every year, multiple times, and you know what? They showed out, and they got to show some of those guys with the red coats how we play football over here.
If we want to do diplomatic stuff, we should start sending them the Jaguars
And
for a game or 2.
yes.
Like, put the nukes
Put Trevor
down.
Lawrence
we'll
in
get Trevor,
the best
We'll
Tom
do Trevor
Ford.
Lawrence 3 times this fall.
Yeah.
Pakistan.
And they're there again next week.
yeah.
This week. It's Monday. Happy Monday morning. So the Jags, number 3 America's team, they get to be on foreign soil 2 weeks in a row. Speaking of foreign soil, the Ryder Cup. Now, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. I'm not happy with the captain. I'm not happy with the leadership, some of the pairings. I'm not happy with the roster initially. I think a lot of those decisions were made out of spite.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin Johnson's at home on a fishing boat.
What's up with that?
That guy's a beast.
He Joe Thomas the Ryder Cup?
Yes, he Joe Thomas the Ryder Cup. Well, he just never got
They Joe
invited.
Thomas him.
Never got invited.
Yeah.
All this live stuff, live in PGA, there's a lot of beef. So we obviously got beat by the Europeans. But my number 4 America's
It's a dying
team
sport
is
now.
Max Homa. You want to talk about a guy who just embodies what it is to be like a bleeding heart, red, white, and blue American?
Yeah.
That guy over there in those conditions played his heart out, and it gave people a reason to watch. Max Homa. Number
I didn't get
5.
the memo.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Guys in the NFL named Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah. They had a really good day.
Big day.
Those 2.
Stick around for the recaps. You'll see why they made my number
That's
5.
really good, Kyle.
There you go.
All right. Number 1, Penn State. Fake knee up 21 to cover.
College football.
Like, these coaches are brazen in knowing the fucking spread, dude. McVay's been backdoor covering for weeks now. You know, like, he's like, fuck Caleb Williams.
He's got buddies.
I got to cover. And then James Franklin with the fake knee. I mean, it had to be something personal with Northwestern. I just can't. I've never seen anything like that. And then, London fans. I think London fans. You know what I love about London fans? It's like a Halloween assignment where they got to look American. but like they pan to the crowd. I'm like, you're British.
It's like
I can
coming
see it
to
in
America
your-
watching the basketball game.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
I
basketball.
can't explain what makes an English person look English, but they all look so English, and they all got their Jags uniforms and everything on, and they're trying to dress like the super fans
Unseasoned.
in the United States. I love it. I love it. I love seeing fans in London. Fire alarm guys. Did you see Representative Jamal Bowman? Now, I don't know who that is,
All this.
but he pulled the fire alarm.
And he's on tape.
They were supposed to vote on like a budget. Like the House is there voting on a budget. And of course, for people, this isn't a political endorsement. But what I am saying is that last week, my son pulled the fire alarm
Heard that.
at school. You probably didn't hear that because it was in the pod.
This
It
is
was late in the pod.
amazing.
I
Which
buried
one?
it thinking, like the
Waylon?
less people that know. Well, I don't want to say who.
Oh, my bad.
But one of the kids.
We're not doxing criminals.
One of my kids. I'm not. Yeah, he's a misdemeanor now. But one of my kids. I don't want to do
Did
it.
he get
Deion
ink on him?
Sanders. No, they don't spray ink. It's
Oh.
like that's more of a like stealing clothes thing. I feel like.
No, at like public school.
At
No,
public schools, you get inked if you pull the fire alarm.
like something comes out so they can check, like if someone does it like as a joke, like so they can see who does it.
Show me your
Yes.
hands.
Because I think they charge the parents.
Man, listen. When he got home, at first we heard he pulled the fire alarm. I was like, oh motherfucker! I got to ground the kid, the whole thing. And the teacher's like, listen, it's a self-imposed punishment. He feels terrible. And then I'm like, I got to build him up. So he gets home, we build him up, right? And then before bed, he's got this Nike shirt on. It says, just do it. And he goes, hey, Mom, you know why I got this shirt on? Because I just did it. I just pulled it. And I sat down on the bed and I said, hey, buddy, the first time I know you were curious and we feel really bad for you, but the second time you'll never go back to school again. And he's like, can I watch the iPad? I'm like, buddy, I don't think you understand. Out of embarrassment,
just
I'm
do
not going
it.
to send you back. I can't take this as Chris's son. I would have used to do the same thing. All right, so anyways,
He was curious.
all right. Zeros, Nate, you pointed this out. Zeros had a great day. Whether
they
it was
did.
whether it was Davenport with a sack, Jonathan Cooper with a sack, Roquan Smith, Ridley getting back on track. There were a bunch of zeros out there that were balling yesterday. Take your pick. And then Kyle, I know you're gonna like this. Okay, New England Wags. I'll get there. Okay.
I'm just a wags kind of guy.
Taylor Swift. We got 17 cutaways last night. Okay, we got Taylor Swift. I'd like to put a moratorium on people in sports media using Taylor Swift songs to make these fucking plays on words. I'm
hate
over
it.
Like, I'm all about the couple, but can we just not fucking? Can we
Dude,
just fucking
even at
not?
CBS Sports, Jonathan Jones has like something every week.
and that's your
Adam
boy.
Shine, and they're really good at it. But
And
I'm like, I just
So we've had a good 9-day run. Let's just stop. Mike Tirico last night. Oh, there's Taylor Swift and some people. Mike, that's Blake Lively. Okay? And Ryan Reynolds. Taylor Swift's got all her most masculine friends, Hugh Jackman, to lean on fucking Travis Kelce. None of her short king friends. But
Travis
she's got,
went toss now.
and then she's like, Ryan Reynolds, I guess, like, you own a soccer team, you can come. And then,
He's Deadpool.
Melissa Stark on the sideline. 400% increase in jersey sales for Travis. Melissa, we're in the red zone.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a 400% increase in me turning off the volume on the game. Now, I did love the orange jacket. Love Melissa Stark.
She's
UVA
great.
gal.
Stud.
Wahoo wah. But I know they're telling her to say this stuff. But yeah, the bottom line is
they are.
New England Wags, because when we're in New England, we've had Culpo, we've had Lima, we've had Giselle.
Don't see 'em.
We just play football.
Just move on.
Jessica
Where are the
Simpson.
cutaways there? Jessica Simpson in Dallas, but we did get a little bit of that. I'm just over
Jessica
it, dude.
Simpson.
So America's teams, New England Wags of old, of yesteryear.
I mean, that was a star-studded affair before this became
Yeah.
center of
You
attention.
guys
I'm over it. I don't
missed
mean to pour
one.
cold water on this.
Oh,
whole
what we
thing.
got? What do we
You
miss?
guys missed
What did we
one.
miss? Oh, the Baltimore Orioles. They took care of that
No,
under Red Sox
Andy's
win
toy
total.
box,
Andy's
guys.
toy box.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm with CBS, and that's a competitor you're talking about. So.
Well, Andy's toy box
I
should have
heard-
been someone's American
It looks
team.
cool.
I heard they were doing that, and Booger McFarland's on there, and he talked about ayahuasca, Like Aaron Rodgers came up and he tried. So you got a bunch of kids like, what's ayahuasca?
Yo,
And,
honestly, I thought I was hearing things when I heard that, and I just let it pass. But there was a lot of
He was watching the kids game.
you were watching
Yo,
the kids
I
game.
really
He really
was.
was watching the Toy
Bro,
Story game.
I was really intrigued. They had a few glitches, but it's something that
He's
once
giving
they
an
get
honest
it,
review. of
yeah,
the Toy
It
once-
looked
Story game.
cool.
bro, once they get the
Yeah.
kinks worked out, that is pretty fire. Like,
They got
Do
to
you
turn
think-
that
do you
into a
think
video
you
game.
You might tune into that feed.
but here's the
instead
thing:
of-
like, I tuned in with my girl, and
Yeah.
the way they did it really informational. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and they were really teaching the game. So I could see if you're sitting there with your son or daughter,
Give me an
who maybe
example of how
like
they were teaching it.
they.
that's a tough question.
Well, no, they showed like with.
All back.
they showed with like the little figurines. They did a breakdown of hey, what D linemen do, what
Got it.
linebackers
This
do.
is a game.
They just break it down, and it's something where if you're sitting there,
Woody and Sarge on an EC.
The pig just eating
but
the
they
double
did
team.
they did teach
Look
us
at this pig.
some end zone dances too. That
Yeah.
was pretty cool. But
That's cool.
I think overall
Was
it was
Trevor
it was a
Lawrence
dope
the girl cowgirl?
No, they all were just regular figures.
I saw that on Twitter. I didn't know if it
the
was
Great
slinky,
hair.
the slinky dog was the down marker, so that was kind of cool.
That's
That was fire.
fucking awesome.
He's like an accordion. That's great.
And then the crane
Yeah.
was like was kind of like the referee, was picking up and dropping the
The
balls.
cloud from Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Remember he used to put
Yeah.
your car back on the track?
That's great. I'm glad we got some Toy Story in this morning.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
There's
Let's
a
start with
snake in my
let's start
booth.
with Sunday Night Football. Kyle, your thoughts? Because
My
this is
thoughts
your,
on Sunday Night Football are as such. Trey Smith explodes.
Oh my God! All he wanted to do was hurt somebody.
You want to talk
Out
about
of the game.
starting the game? I mean, I was texting with Creed the other
Yeah.
night because they were in New York. I'm in New York on Saturday, and I said, "Do you guys need any dip? Do you need anything?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "We're all set. We got pizza."
Mhm.
It's a picture of Tooney and all the guys at the hotel. And we obviously saw widely publicized. Everybody else wasn't at the hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
But the O-line are dialed in. Andy Heck had those guys ready. And with all the distractions that they're dealing with right now in the public eye, to show up and to make a statement like that, and the run game early, and to get
Yeah.
Pacheco on an explosive early, I thought really set the tone. Obviously, Mahomes got outplayed by Zach Wilson. The defense showed up for the Jets when it needed to. Every throw that Mahomes was making seemed like there was somebody in his face or there was two guys around his target. Now, at the end of the game, you see Mahomes start to figure out, he said, hey, there's nobody here. Fuck this shit. I'm running.
He does that little thing with his neck.
He
He really does do that little
He
thing with
runs
his
like
neck.
a weeble wobble. You don't know which way he's
But
going.
like on the third step to generate more power, he whips his neck around.
But for the Jets,
Ostrich like.
I really, really liked what I saw from Zach Wilson, and I know how much confidence plays into performance.
Yeah, big deal.
And that kid has been beaten up every day by everybody on every station. And for him to go out there, play the way he did with the drops,
Yeah.
with the penalties, with all the distractions around him, it speaks to me volumes about Zach Wilson's character, and also to listen to him speak after the game,
Yeah.
take accountability.
Yeah, like last year,
He's
we got
grown
all
up.
mad at him because he threw some guys under the bus. And
Yeah.
But it's not a win.
no, it's not a win.
The boogeyman still wears number 15,
Yeah.
and he wears red.
Yeah.
And Kelsey didn't score 2, and Mahomes didn't have 300 yards. I mean, in fact, Zach Wilson's the only opposing quarterback to have more completions, more passing yards, more touchdown passes, and fewer interceptions than Patrick Mahomes in a start. Out of 127 starts, college or pro, including postseason.
Yeah, he's sword in the stone.
He did somebody nobody else had ever done,
Yeah,
and
dude.
he lost.
Yeah, no, I know. And that just speaks to how resilient and good the Chiefs are with everything that they've gone through this year, personnel-wise. This game started to feel like that Indy game last year at some point. I was like, they're going to lose this game.
Ugly.
2017, and you're going to look back and be like, how did that happen? But obviously, the defense is very good. I want to tip my cap to Zach as well. I don't know if I'd have what it takes to be Zach Wilson
Nope.
right now. I don't. And, I sit up here and criticize him because sometimes he plays bad. But last night, for the most part, he outplayed Patrick, as you put it. And, drives in the middle of this game of 62, 41, 41, 75. They got the back shoulder stuff going. They got the quick game going. But the script is going to script, Kyle. It ends with Zach Wilson making a Zach Wilson mistake.
And Garrett Wilson having to make ridiculous plays.
Yeah, and so
God, he's good.
he's really good. And I feel bad for everybody there that they can't figure this thing out. I thought Zach came out and under the bright lights against the best, at least bought himself a little extra rope, and took the pressure off Solid and not have to answer all these questions, because they'll still be asked. But at least you could say, hey, we went out there, and if our defense gets a stop, if there's no penalty, which I get the flag, and and I had. How about that cover, by the way? I had the Jets.
Oh,
how about that cover? Patrick Mahomes sprinting to the pylon.
Patrick saw what you were doing.
Psych, dude. Yes, psych.
And he put his hands up. You were like,
my
yeah!
God. America's teams, everybody that bet the Jets this week. I mean, that was incredible.
I got
a question for you. What did the ground do to Isaiah Pacheco?
Boy, he runs angry.
Like, he just...
Do you remember the wild thornberries?
No.
There was a cartoon when we were growing up. Donnie.
Do you remember the traveling Wilburys?
Donnie was the so it was a British family living in Australia or Africa, somewhere in the outback.
Yeah. Great cartoon.
And Donnie was the feral kid that they picked up.
Yeah.
And he runs like Donnie.
Yeah, he just runs fast.
It's like, just stay out of Donnie's way.
Yeah.
And I love after the play, guys are getting hit. Pacheco's hitting him in the chest. He's fired up. The demeanor from that offensive line, the interior O-line, and this leads to my next point. But the interior O-line is bullies.
Taylor.
When I watch the tackles in the run game,
Told you about it.
they're not willing participants on the edge. Yeah. When you get tackles on the edge, when it's me and a guy who's wearing number 27, I want to make him not want to play football anymore.
You want to bury him.
You see Trent Williams on the edge?
Yeah.
There's a reason people hold him in high regard.
It looks personal.
You know what's a lot harder than blocking DBs? Blocking fucking DNs every play. Yeah. So when you get a chance to block somebody 2 weight classes under you on the edge with Pacheco behind you, go get him.
Yeah, and Juwan.
That's concerning.
Juwan Taylor, I mean, Kyle, the tackles are going to be a concern all year. It just is what it is. And Juwan Taylor, like, the opener, everybody's watching the game. He goes out there and does what he does. So he's got this target on his back, and then you get another primetime game. You get the face mask for the safety. You get a hold.
Which was a bad call.
Which was probably by the letter of the law a bad call, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, we got the explanation at the time, and so you want to say the refs, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, they got 2 points in the ball.
Well, he's gotten away with some, and he ended up on the wrong end of things. I mean, don't grab.
I don't think I ever gave up a safety on a penalty.
I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen a couple times. We did it against the Cardinals in 2010. So I have a good memory, but
that's a long time.
Yeah, CJIU. I caused it, didn't get the sack. Just typical. But yeah, no. So we end up with that call, and then the one where Mahomes had this like vintage Mahomes masterful conversion late in the game that gets wiped out. They get it anyways 2 plays later.
The next play, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like explosive run, game over, holding. Hold the phone here. God, here come the Jets. And then Mahomes goes back and runs it again. Same side of the field. Backbreaker.
The great thing about Mahomes is we don't have to sit here and overanalyze 2 picks.
No.
Yeah, my bad. Next one.
Fuck it. You saw him say, throw the fucking ball after he underthrew the ball to the right side. He was going to layer the ball over the linebacker and the DB. Found a soft spot, had his guy, underthrew it, which is like, we just don't see that from Pat.
He's just got to shake it off.
Like, even Van Gogh missed some brush strokes. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Happy mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy accidents.
Van Gogh couldn't hear the call.
Yeah, he couldn't hear shit.
Okay.
Check with me.
Yeah. All right, so Miami Buffalo. Oh, before we get to Miami Buffalo, I would never get to Miami Buffalo without thanking Cash App.
Me too. Go Bills.
After that win, I got some extra cash to spread around. Thanks to Cash App for sponsoring this podcast with multiple tools for saving, spending, and sending. Cash App is an all-in-one way to stay in control of your money. But what happens when life takes an unexpected turn and you find yourself losing control? What happens when Tua's balling and the Miami Dolphins are running roughshod over the entire league? The Buffalo Bills happen, just like Cash App happens. Okay, we have an internet update at my house. It's still out, like a couple weeks running. Starlink, the reviews aren't great. We're not doing a Starlink ad. Still can't run the film at home. Still can't stream music. But I adjust and I make do. I'm efficient in the office, get my work done so I can get home and get a nap in, which never happens, Reed. But that is losing control. It happens. Bottom line is I can't control the internet, but what I can control is my money. A great way to stay in control of your life and to stay in control of your finances is Cash App. So download Cash App in the App Store or Google Play to see why it's the #1 finance app in the U.S. App Store. Okay? If you want to get control of your money, bet the Bills right now. They've won 3 games by like 28 points.
You want my Cash App endorsement?
Okay.
This is not a paid endorsement, but
tell
I
me.
will say,
Tell me.
we went to the best concert ever at a Cash App sponsored event.
Don't say Morgan Wallen or like.
I was with you. It was the
what was
Drake
it?
concert.
Oh, the Drake
Drake?
concert.
Super
Okay.
Bowl. We went and
Okay,
saw
yeah.
Drake at a private hangar.
In a hangar.
And Cash App was like, we got it.
It was sick. The baby's bodyguard is like our buddy now.
Yep.
You know, like we just made a lot.
I
of
met
good friends.
Noah
CC
Syndergaard. He was
CC
big.
Sabathia.
Great guy.
Kyle and him
We
just
did a
having
pod.
beer. Got a pod with him.
Seeing MGK.
Yeah, we do have to. We saw MGK.
So shout out to Cash
and-
App.
Shout out to Cash App. I would have never been standing outside that party smoking a joint
Megan
in the
Fox.
parking lot.
Eating Taco Bell.
I was sitting outside that party, minding my business with the security guards, and all of a sudden I see MGK and Megan Fox walk by, and they're like 10, 15 yards apart. And I'm like, that's not good. That's a
Yeah.
bad sign.
They was arguing.
Yeah, that offense isn't on the same page.
He was like Jarrett Payton. He was
And
getting
they
the
broke
video
up.
for TMZ.
I knew it
He was
first.
getting the Taylor Swift video for TMZ.
I knew it first. Yeah.
Well, hey, guys.
All right. Here's the deal. I'm gonna go on this for a little bit because this was a incredible showing from
Buffalo,
the Bills.
Miami.
Yeah, this is incredible showing from the Bills. I mean, like, number one, last time they played, Dolphins more physical. Like that's supposed to be the finesse team. Dolphins went up there in the snow, in the cold, in Buffalo, and out physicaled them. Okay, the Bills were more physical this game. Sean McDermott's taken a lot of shit, but he didn't blink, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. His defense was humming. As a team, they've improved. They had the run game in, the whole thing. We've talked about that week after week. The pressure of staying one score ahead in this game is enormous. Okay, like it's a game where if you punt, you could be trailing.
You're playing Madden.
You're playing Madden.
Yep.
You know, so I just think it's interesting to think about the Bills staying ahead in the first half. They stayed ahead thanks to Allen and Diggs. I mean, the PI, the play that Josh and Diggs connect in the red zone where Diggs makes the adjust and bails out that rare mistake they made on the illegal formation. My big question with the Dolphins defense is why not travel Xavier Howard with Diggs? You know, they had Kohu on him, right? And
rough day.
a lot of and people are gonna have rough days
Against
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, yeah.
People want to make Diggs sound crazy all the time. Well, this is the hot crazy scale in action. Okay, this is the hottest day.
So true.
Stephon Diggs. This is why you keep people are like, oh, he argues with people on the sideline. He's fiery, whatever. How about this though? Have you
All
seen him
great
when he
wide
gets all
receivers do
dolled
that.
up and goes for 200 yards on
Wow,
Cater
look
Cove?
how good he looks.
He looks great. This is why we put up with the other stuff. And I think he's great. I'm just saying, people say that. This is why you love Stephon Diggs.
Same with
in
Josh Allen.
And Josh Allen, in a big moment, I mean, they probably laughed when they realized that Fangio was telling the truth about not traveling Xavier Howard. Like in the first
Fangio,
quarter.
dude.
Fangio was like, the way our defense is right now, I can't do that. And I'm sure Dolphins fans know why. I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can tell me. But, like, you know, I just would have had Howard on Diggs a little bit more.
What's interesting was Howard saying after the game, let me make my money on the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's money to go do what I do. So he wanted that opportunity, but
If I know Vic, he'll give him a chance.
That's interesting. I mean, it's really interesting to me that they didn't make that adjustment. Maybe they do in Act 2. But the stretch from 14 to 14 to 28-14, including the huge touchdown, Diggs just took over. And the second half, they just kept the pressure on him. You know, like, and Josh could do the off-schedule stuff, the stuff to Cook, the stuff to Hardy. And then they're up 41-20 and they're cruising. But I just thought Sean McDermott and the Bills, the way I'm thinking, I'm betting the Bills. I'm afraid of the Dolphins offense. Early in the game, it's score. 4th and 5 at the 45, the Dolphins 45. I'm like, you got to go. You know, you're up 21-14. You don't want to get in a fucked up situation with these guys. Take the opportunity to
Flip
chase
the
the
score,
points.
yeah.
They don't even think about it. They just punt. They trust their defense. At the end of the half, they're not scrambling to take timeouts to steal a possession. And by the way, the Dolphins are like, fuck it, we'll run on 3rd and 7. We'll go to the half. So it said a lot about the mentality in this game, and Sean just saying, hey, I think we're good enough. And they were good enough. The defense played great. They played nickel against 21, which is a big thing, is like, how can you stop that run game without loading the box and putting your guys in the back end?
Have
in
faith
tough
that your little
situations?
guys play like big guys.
Yeah, and exactly right. And in this situation they did, and the guys up front killed the run game with penetration. You know, the Miami saw one play of heavy box, which is the lowest in the league. You know, after all that stuff they put on tape in the run game, Sean McDermott's like, fuck it, I got guys, dude.
Yeah.
You haven't been playing guys. And so Mostert on the wheel route was a great throw from Tua. It was like the second quarter, but it's when I started to notice that pocket. And Tua hadn't been sacked, which in what felt like in weeks. I mean, the pocket's been really clean.
Yep.
And I think when Tua's on time, he's top 5. You know, when Tua is, hey, it's one read, let's go.
Right.
You know, like he leans into that skill set better than anybody. But when he's off schedule, he's not that.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had him off schedule more than he's been off schedule all year. So credit, I'm not taking things away from the Dolphins offense.
It's a credit to McDermott.
It's a credit to McDermott. It's a credit to this front. Milano gets the peanut punch. They start taking the ball away. And I thought what was huge was Floyd with that sack before the half. Because if you think about this offense, we talked about last week, the middle 8, when you're playing the Broncos, how quickly it went from, you know, 35-13 at the half from 21-10 with 5 minutes to go because you don't take advantage of a mistake. Okay? So with this Floyd sack, they're up 31-14. They're up 31-14, and it prevents a 2-for-1 at the end of the half. If you look at that, if they go get that touchdown before the half, they score. They came out of the half.
Different game.
It's 31-28. So, like, I know you can't say, hey, the sack took 7 points off the board necessarily, but a lot of times a sack kills a drive, especially against this team. So I thought that was huge. They blitzed more in the second half. And then finally with Josh Allen, every time they play in a big fucking game, Kyle, and I've watched them all, it's Josh with his legs. It's Josh hurdling people. It's Josh running around back out with the football like this, like, you know, stiff-arming Jalen Phillips, trying to throw up prayers. This game was like, we're going to play this thing under control. And then when there's an opportunity to go for the kill, you go for the kill. And I thought Josh did a great job, and he met them halfway on that. So I think it was all the more impressive considering the Bills didn't capitalize on opportunities, because we talk about when you get the rare opportunities against this team, you can't drop a pick. You know, Bernard can't drop a pick. Trey White can't drop a pick 6 after the Diggs play. If he had caught that ball and taken it to the house, the top would have come off that fucking building. But they still won going away. 3rd and 18, Mostert fumbles. They don't fall on the ball. They still won going away. That, to me, is the most incredible thing of this whole thing.
RG3 last week was talking about how the Miami Dolphins are, you know, the best team. He was doing a lot of capital letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to get a Bills tweet today.
Lowercase.
We're gonna
Bills
get
are
a
good.
tweet.
Bills are good.
Yeah. I told you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, listen, I think the Dolphins are really fucking good. If they weren't really good, we wouldn't be so impressed.
No, yeah.
With what the Bills did. So credit to the Dolphins. You're not going to win them all, but they started 3-0 last year. They're 3-0 this year.
They need Ramsey bad.
They need Ramsey bad.
Bad.
But more than anything, I just feel like you've got to score with Josh Allen and the Bills. And I don't know if you can score with them if that's the kind of defense you're going to see.
No, yeah.
You know, and so I just want to credit that defense. And, you know, for the Dolphins, yeah, they looked human. That's the delta between the best and worst defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You just saw it.
That's
right
crazy.
now, the best defense in the league is the Bills. Last week's the worst defense in the league. The delta is like 50 points.
And don't be fooled.
It's like crazy.
Don't let it go unsaid that when you go from playing the Broncos to playing the Bills, the game speeds up.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember there were games where we played teams where they just didn't have winning rushers at the 3-tech, and it would be a pretty easy game. Not easy, but like relatively speaking.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next week and you got games being ran, you got downhill linebackers. It's a different game you're playing. So I could imagine for that offense, it just looks different.
And when speed is violence, you know, that with that Miami offense, the same way that they slow rushers down and defenders down. Another thing is Bills are really good at like the pattern match stuff. You know, you look back at like last week and they're playing the Broncos. That was as bad a showing as you could have seen in coverage. And, you know, with all those crossers, you got half the field in man, half in zone, and then the guys on the zone side aren't picking up the guys that are being passed. You know, you got to have good linebackers. You got to be good in the middle of the field to beat these guys. And in coverage, I thought they were really good at just like adjusting, playing things on the fly. But the way the Dolphins make you play slow, the Bills slowed the Dolphins down. And I think the big question mark is like Armstead. I think he came back in the game, but can they be healthy up front? Because they play these better teams. You're gonna have to protect him better than that. You started to feel that. And for the Bills, Trey White going out with the Achilles, man.
Terrible.
If you want to know how much an NFL player cares about their job, watch Trey White after that injury. He knew it right away. His helmet went flying like 30 yards. He was pounding the ground. It's one of the hardest things to see because, here's a guy who thinks I might win a Super Bowl this year. I'm late in my career. I'm still playing well. We're in the middle of like a benchmark win for us.
Team and personal accolades. They've been through so much the last few years, getting to the top of the mountain, and getting kicked off the mountain.
Yeah.
And this is their
And he pops his Achilles. And now the question is, like, what do you do at corner? I have a feeling they might just stick with Elam because he's played all right when they've asked him to. But there is, like we were talking about yesterday, like, do you go make a move? Now, I think Bills fans will say, hey, we're fine. Like, Von's going to come back. The clock's going to speed up. By the way, Von, I saw the strength coach on the sideline yesterday, huge jack guy named Don Miller. Von Miller looks like an absolute coach on the sideline. I was like, when they were panning the sideline, I was like, that coach is on something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's Von Miller.
There you go.
He looks like he's in playing shape. And when he
Do you have his glasses on?
Yeah, he looks
It's
awesome.
Vaughn.
With those glasses on, it's like the Clark Kent Superman.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's like, ah!
Yeah, he's amazing. I can't wait to get him back and watch him every Sunday, but the Bills can't wait to get him back in the biggest way because now they got issues at corner a little bit. Now, we talk about, the AFC East, the Dolphins taking a loss, the Jets taking a loss, the Patriots taking a loss, and that wasn't even close.
Mac Jones getting a half day.
Mac Jones getting a half day. He was tired.
We're just nothing. There's no reason to leave him out there.
And listen, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Mac Jones. I don't know if that's a regression game, if it's going to stay that way. I don't know if we're in we don't see it, but there's this big internal struggle between Bill and Robert Kraft. Because if you remember last year, Robert Kraft was on Mac's side and Bill was on Zappy's side.
Ooh.
Okay, and then at the end of the game, as I understood it, and then at the end of the game, you pull Mac Jones, and Bill's like, "I'm just pulling him because I don't."
We didn't see any reason for him to be out there.
He might not have control over that thing, and he might not have control because now, if you can't run the ball on Dallas, you're fucked. If you get behind on Dallas, you turn the ball over.
Extra.
Especially if you're New England, you're fucked. But this is the worst I've ever seen. I mean, it's the worst Bill loss ever.
Literally.
And this feels further away than they've ever been. Now, I called them the best 0-2 team a couple weeks ago. Pats fans, I'm never betting you again. You guys are giving me shit online.
Portnoy was saying they're a Super Bowl caliber team.
You need to worry about your house because it's on fire. Like, you lose Gonzalez, you lose Judon. And as for the Judon injury, Dietrich Wise after the game says, devastation, guys will step up. We'll be with them all year. So I have a feeling it's not a great deal.
They said bicep.
I don't know what it is, but,
Yeah, bicep is what the Aiden back there is giving me the left-handed pitcher, bicep.
Yeah, it's bicep. So it's bad.
It could have rolled up on him.
It's bad news. Like, they probably knew right away the MRI's coming or whatever, but
you can see it sometimes outside. If you've never seen an Achilles go full or a bicep go full,
roll up.
It snaps, so it'll hold on, it'll snap and then it'll roll up and you'll get like a lump on your arm.
It's a fruit roll up.
Yeah, it's crazy. It looks like a little nut under
but,
your.
But I don't want to spend too much time on this because New England, I don't know if they're going to be relevant the way they've looked in spots the first month of the season. And I just think when you have the receivers you have or don't have, you have the offensive line that you have or don't have. Mac Jones isn't some world beater quarterback. You have to dress things up around him. It's the opposite, and the defense just lost two of its best players. Now I don't know how long Gonzalez is out, but we'll see.
Well, it's like this offense is the same one he's been running since Alabama, and he's comfortable with it. I'm like, maybe change that.
Well, they tried it last year. They were like, we're going to give you something totally different.
Maybe
we're going to give you two guys that stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. They're going to call the plays.
Pretend you're playing against NFL players.
Couldn't be any more different from Bama.
Pretend you're playing against NFL players.
Yeah. Well,
we're not playing Tennessee.
The Cowboys side, they are better than anybody at jumping teams. Like, when they jump you, they are some front running. I mean, this is a compliment because a physical team with a great pass rush should be this way. They are some front-running sons of guns. And Deron Bland, who was supposed to be like a good number 3 behind Gilmore and Diggs, even after that rookie year where he's so ball aware, like he's having to play a big role, and he goes and gets 2 picks yesterday. Yep. So if you're a Cowboys fan, you feel pretty good. Remember what I said about Diggs? You lose some top-end stuff, but maybe you pick up a couple things that you didn't have in his game. I mean, Bland, if he can give you the ball-aware stuff and play sound on the outside, like they'll be all right with that pass rush. So we talked about last week. I think the problems were up front offensively, and then the run game, they just got jumped. And I thought the Cardinals had a great game plan. They probably had a better day, the Cowboys did, than the Eagles, if I'm admitting it. But I thought the Eagles had a really gutsy win, man. I don't know if you guys saw much of this game, but
it was back and forth, bro. It was. I'm happy for Bieniemy. I'm happy for Howe after
they both had great days.
The week he had last week.
Dead or alive? Somebody said we should play dead or alive with quarterbacks. Howe alive.
Yeah.
Like last week dead, this week alive. Like I said, is he going to turn into a pumpkin? No, it's not midnight yet, man. I'm surprised that they tried to air it out early. Like they ultimately protected him pretty well too. I'll talk about that in a minute, but like they gave him opportunities to make plays in the pass game, and they were trying to take him. They mixed in some, Robinson. I thought it'd be a lot of downhill, like, big tight end sets, that sort of thing. They did a lot of gun run with Gibson, and it makes sense considering the front they're facing. Like, I guess they chose we're going to take some shots on these guys and try to block them up over we're going to just run to the teeth of the defense. They're coming off 9 sacks. I was just surprised. So Howell made some really nice throws. The throw he made with Milton Williams draped all over him was kind of Brett Favre-ish. I don't want to say it, but Sam Howell's like the chicken-eating Brett Favre, like on a very minor league level. And like some people are going to be like, did you just compare him to Brett Favre? I'm just saying the variability in the play and the gunslinger attitude, it's kind of fun. And if he can actually continue. Now, guys in the back end, it kind of speaks to what they think about the Eagles' back end.
Yep.
Okay. But this looked really good. And for the Eagles, you're looking at it like, look what the Bills did to them last week. We didn't make it look this way. So we have a ways to go to get better. Now, maybe it is the Bills flu that's going around, and it's hard to compare anybody to the Bills, right? They're just that good right now. But the Eagles probably want to be better. And penalties extended early drives. I mean, you had, I think, a hold and then a helmet-to-helmet, maybe an Edmonds penalty.
It was lopsided early, wasn't it, like 17-3?
They find themselves down 14-7.
14-7.
And I thought the D-line, and this is a perfect example, did enough. And they were fighting and scratching and clawing. It was one of those games where maybe they didn't have 8 sacks, but their fucking fingerprints are all over this game, Kyle. I mean, Josh Sweat, you talk about being down 14-7 at home. That place is about to go dead silent and maybe boo you.
Birds, they come.
And Josh Sweat with a sack on first down in the red zone. You had Fletch creating pressure all day, creating sacks, stopping the sneak play. Like everybody had a hand in it. Hassan Reddick on third down. Josh Sweat had a great rush too. And Jalen Carter playing his ass off on 3rd and 17. He's spinning. He's hitting the ground. I have a clip of him, Kyle, where he falls on his face. He had such a good spin move. He just runs over the guard. He falls on the face, and he's trying to propel himself off the ground with his hand in the air. That is fucking championship effort,
You can't
Kyle.
teach that.
Kyle, that's the effort that I saw last week against Tampa Bay. He did it again. He ran out of stack
when he was covering.
and blasted somebody. Okay, I get chills thinking about it because that is the scratching and clawing that it takes to win games in the NFL for a defensive line. And there are going to be days like that where you're like, what the fuck? They're hitting shots on us. It's 4th and 2 the next play. He's leaping out of the ground. He's flying up the field. And BG, who's done everything they've ever asked him to, moved up and down the line, moved inside when I was in Philly. It's the kind of guy he is.
Hated it when he was inside.
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did.
So get your little ass
Yeah.
out there, BG.
And then he was in the A gap on the biggest rush of the game, the Reed Blankenship arm play, where he hurried them a little bit to not be able to get that 3rd and 5, I think it was, in overtime, and to set up the game-winning score. So, like, BG, everybody stepping up.
Give a little love to Blankenship, too.
Yeah, the Blankenship arm play was huge, Kyle.
Give a little love to Blank.
His arm, and somebody said he
You know
had a
what I'm talking
farmer's
about.
tan that kept it, like, just obvious enough that his arm wasn't the white line. But when you talk about 9 sacks last week, you talk about the Eagles. I don't know what the box score says, but watching this tape, they affected the game. A lot of pressures. But the reason you can't just look at pressures when you look at, like, did an offensive line play well is because Sam Howell had the ball for almost 3 seconds. They really took shots. So when you look at that, you want to look at time to throw and pressures. And what that tells you about the game is guys were winning, but Washington was extending plays and not afraid to take shots. I thought the fucking final sequence, because it ended the way I wanted it to, was beautiful. I mean, you had a 3rd and 17, a 4th and 2. By the way, they were just picking on Job at the end of the game. Kyle, you'll love this. When I was in New England, Martellus Bennett, we used to just complain during stretch because fucking we're in New England. It's like,
You guys
man,
are 33.
I got knee braces on in practice. What the fuck is going on here? And, you know, like guys are just bitching like they do. And Marty used to just stand up and start talking about this guy from the Bible named Job. He'd say, they took Job's livestock. They took Job's son. They took his house. And he didn't complain. You know, so all I'm saying is, Job, I know it's tough. You know, they're targeting you. There's penalties, the whole thing. But, like, you could be the Job from the Bible. And there's a lesson in there. It's like, wake up tomorrow. Let's just play better, you know? Open up Job,
Turn
the
the
book
page.
of Job.
Bob
I'm sure
Seger.
some of y'all, Bob
Also
Seger,
in
turn
the Bible.
page. And just taking a page from my boy Martellus Bennett, who I texted him last night, and I was like,
I love
Can
Marty.
you tell me the story of Job? Where do you text me here?
What up,
This is a
Marty?
live show, so I apologize.
Marty
but
did do an interview one time and say that our entire roster was a bunch of bitches.
Yeah.
bunch of bitches.
And I was like, man, he's talking about me too.
Well, God sent his angels to take all of
remember
Job's. Hey, listen. Well, God, this is a text last night at
From
11:57
Marty.
p.m. from Marty because I texted him. Like,
Okay,
can you
okay.
tell
Oh, I
me the
love
Job
it. I
story
love
again?
it. I
He
love
goes,
it.
well, God sent his angels to take all of Job's shit, the donkeys, the wheat, his children, and his hoes. Job didn't complain or curse God. Instead, he cursed himself. He looked inward. And since he blamed himself and never cursed God, God hooked him up with more health and wealth. He gave him twice as many hoes, horses, donkeys. He upgraded, homie.
Shout out to
love
the
it.
orange dinosaur, Martellus Bennett,
So I just want Job to look inward.
and the Word of God.
Because at first, when I texted him, he's like, what's the context? I was like, well, there's a corner named Job. He's getting picked on. He reminded me of you. And he said, I don't know if that's going to work. Are you going to talk about it on the pod? And then he told me, I go, Marty, this works perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay? But I will say, at the end of the game, if that fucker had caught the ball at the goal line, the game's over. And then if Ron Rivera goes for 2, I feel like the game's over too.
I'm glad you call him Ron Rivera because the Riverboat Ron
It's
thing's
dead.
out the
No,
window.
monikers out.
Out.
He just keeps saying these Ron things, you know, like older guys, they just say things and you're like, come on.
And then he has to like go back and
Yeah.
fix it.
I didn't mean they were tired, which is why we didn't try to win the game.
That
One
was-
play on the 2-yard line. How far do you have to run? Who else is tired? The defense
But if they're
is
tired,
fucking tired.
but if I feel like my team is tired, let's put them in overtime.
Yeah, oh yeah, on the road.
Like what?
So, I mean, like, really entertaining game. Sam Howell, he took some steps.
Jake Elliott.
We ready to go to the AFC North because everybody was struggling.
Except for Lamar in the
Excuse
red
me.
zone.
Oh, Lamar in the red zone?
Woo-wee!
Buddy, Lamar's playing well, and the offense doesn't revolve around him. Which is it does, but it doesn't revolve around him running the ball, getting hurt, having to do much. The way we talk about Josh Allen, we have been waiting to see Todd Monken's offense. Like, this is the life raft for Lamar. He's been out in the water for a couple years now. Like, finally the lifeboat gets there. You want to make sure it floats. You want to make sure it can get back to port. It's got some amenities on there. This thing's pretty hooked up, man. I think they look good offensively. I really like. I mean, they were blitzed 53% of the time. He was 8 for 9 under pressure for 136 and a tud. All he's got to do is take care of the ball. That's the one thing with Lamar and the Ravens offense is, like, for the 15th week in a row, it feels like they just fumble a handoff or some, benign situation that could let this team get back in the game. Now, luckily, the Browns are out there fucking around. But I thought the drive to end the half, if you want to watch this game, go back and watch the drive to end the half. You had elite arm stuff. You want touch? We had touch pass to Gordon, okay? You want 43 yards on a fucking frozen rope? You got Flowers on a broken play rolling right. You want red zone artistry, Kyle, that you were talking about? You got Andrews. They just look great, and I think, Kyle, the run game is the big difference here.
Well, the run game's great. And having an awesome plan when you get into the low red area, when you have a weapon like Lamar Jackson, is key. My biggest gripe with coordinators, they take the football out of his hand
Yeah.
when you get into that area. As a defender, now I've never played defense in the NFL, but as a defender, if I know it's Lamar Jackson who's going to be making the play in the red area, I don't know where I'm going to look.
I don't like my chances.
But if you tell me before the play Lamar's going to hand it, I like our chances more.
Yeah.
If Lamar's got it in the drop
they
back,
can
if
do
he's got
that
it in the
too,
read
Kyle.
option, if he's got it on the draw,
Yeah.
if he's got it on a quarterback crack, you can win so many ways. Monken knows this. He's putting him in position. There are rare walk-in touchdowns in the NFL.
Yeah.
Lamar had one.
Listen.
Untouched.
Oh, he had a walk-in touchdown, and they're doing it. It's a QB follow.
Untouched.
It's a QB follow. He's going to hand the ball off to Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards then takes from the right side, then pivots back out and leads Lamar into the end zone. Lamar's tugging his jersey.
Counter lead.
It's like
QB counter lead.
with the back being the lead. I mean, like, they're doing a lot of cool shit. And I thought, Kyle, people are talking about the big bad Browns defense, and they are big and bad, and they have had a great run. But I was waiting to see how they'd perform against a professional outfit here. And I thought the Ravens came out there and, like, number one, we're not afraid to run the ball on you guys. I'm looking up there 5 yards a pop in the first half at one point. And number two, we're going to use your aggressiveness against you. Traps, whams. I mean, there was a counter play where
you trap penetrators, you wham penetrators.
They're leaving the edge guy unblocked. They're giving him some hands, which makes him think he's getting blocked, and then they're letting him just run up the field.
We had an O-line coach who said, if you come off the ball, like, this 3 technique gets horny.
Yep.
And by horny, I mean he will try to just
he wants sacks.
like pin his ears back and go. Those are the guys that we can absolutely blindside in the run game and have gashes on.
And they did.
Now,
And
you know that. If you're unblocked, you got to get your head around. You got to.
Gotta be able to read.
there's
direct.
something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sting
Look out,
operation.
It's a trap!
It's a
Look
sting
out, block.
operation, man. I'm not
Look
buying drugs
out.
tonight.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to buy drugs right now. Nobody's blocking me. Oh, there's Simpson earholing me. I mean, this guy Simpson, the first play, Z Smith running up the field. They run like counter or something, and Simpson hits him so fucking hard. I heard it on the mic boom on the far sideline, dude. It was like smack, dude. It was like the first play of the fucking game, and that to me is Ravens football. And then they get down in the red area. Simpson's turning the 3 technique. They got so many pullers. Pullers got no work. Pullers think they're buying drugs from a cop. Like, pullers are out there like, there's nobody
Something's
here.
wrong.
Yeah.
It's because we're just so fucking dominant in the run game right now. And they called such a great game. I'm so excited, man. My Baltimore Ravens, my AFC North champion Baltimore Ravens. Hey, I say a lot of shit that's wrong, but I feel really good right now. I also feel good about Cleveland finishing last. So we got, bro, and the fake jet
on a
sweeps.
minute,
Real quick, player, because I'm all fucking horny.
I just got one thing after this.
Good, because I got something to say. Zay Flowers and the motion stuff looks a little Miami-ish. You got a guy that's scary enough with his speed and that sort of
Copycat
thing.
league, baby.
Zay
Jet-
Flowers and Tyreek, the 2 baddest kids in the league.
Yeah, like just badass.
Like, if
kid.
it gets quiet,
Yeah.
you're babysitting them, you're like, where is he?
Yeah, where's Zay Flowers? Zay Flowers is like next door. I mean, like the monitor didn't even pick it up. So Zay Flowers, this jet motion stuff. Look at the first touchdown that I was talking about in the counter action on the wide shot. The entire second level of defense is shifting with Zay Flowers. They're doing great things to manipulate leverage. And it's the same thing on another touchdown as well. And then a Melvin Gordon explosive down in the red zone. And Justice Hill's doing a great job. Right. Justice Hill's doing just a great job. Yeah. So I love the run game. I want to know what's up with Morgan Moses. He came out.
Thompson Robinson gets the start. And, you know,
what are we doing?
He's a UCLA guy. He's got 48 starts in college.
I like him, but what are we doing?
He's experienced. Like, if, you know, on paper, him and Brock Purdy are kind of similar in terms of experience. So I was expecting a guy to come out there and not run fucking backwards the whole game. Yeah. He ran backwards. He ran sideways. He ran backwards again. He ran forwards. You need your guy in there. If you want to win games, that's one of those teams where you need all the pieces.
Well, not just
to make
that,
it go.
Because they are relatively average in some spots.
Well, you don't have Chubb, you don't have Deshaun Watson. Now you're looking at an uphill battle against an offense you can't miss in the run, and you're going to be playing from behind against a team that can run the ball at will. Like,
they're a Cooper stub toe away from having really not a lot of great options in the pass game. And Njoku playing through Burns. I mean, like, I don't know what's going on there, but like, you know, we have decent backs now. The offensive line is a plus. But Deshaun hasn't played 2 good games in a row since he's been a Houston Texan.
And Batonio's not
And
healthy.
So, Deshaun not even being out there, you don't get a chance to build on last week. And Kyle, 3rd and 1, they're throwing the ball with DTR. 3rd and 3, that's the pick. 3rd and 1, they're doing some trick play where DTR catches the ball on the throwback. It's like, why are we reinventing the wheel? Elijah Moore's running 15 yards back on an end around. Like, they just were fucking around out there. There's penalties, the whole thing. And Kyle, lastly, Roquan Smith was ultimately right. And I fucking love this guy, Kyle.
The best.
I met him at a hotel when I was speaking to the rookies, and I was like, hey, man, I love your game. And he was, like, super cool. That's the only time I've ever met him. But it's true. Like, I was so happy to see
Nicest guy, most genuine guy, and most, like, old school throwback guy.
And that's what showed up in the pros.
He said, we're going to beat your ass in front of your wives and kids.
But with a smile on his face, he said it. And did you see him tattoo DTR on the fucking right sideline? DTR was like, oh, God, Roquan Smith's coming. I'm going to throw the ball forward for 8 yards past the line of scrimmage here. Roquan talked the talk, then he walked the walk, and Clowney was disruptive. I want to shout him out, especially in the first half. He's done a really good job in Baltimore on the low. Second in the league.
The Raven way. He's buying in.
Second in the league in yards per play allowed. Quietly. With, like, no stars on defense. Roquan Smith's the closest thing to a star. Breaking news.
Can we break some news?
Updated depth charts in fantasy. Don't care.
Fuck.
Something about Pat Fryermuth. We'll get to that. So I thought Cleveland, if you want to say take something away from, we talked about the quarterback, the defense just has to play in situations like this, like they can't give up anything. And I don't know if it was the fact that Deshaun was up for a while and then he was down, but like usually a defense
can take the wind
plays
out of your
better.
sails.
Yeah. Usually.
All week you're like, with Deshaun, I think we have we can win this game. And then it's like game time, you get the backup, things.
Well, if you have a whole week to prepare with DTR, the whole game plan's different.
Yes.
And then you're like, we play complementary football differently. We got to tighten up the whole thing. I don't want to spend too much time on the Steelers. We'll get to them in a second, but Kyle Cincy.
You can't. Okay. 94% of your snaps are out of shotgun, something astronomical like that. And you have questions about your run game, right? Nolan's like, why can't we run the ball? Well,
that's a lot. Yeah.
If Joe Burrow's not healthy enough to be under center, and do play action or hand off the ball with his back to the defense or move the pocket, I'm not sure if he's healthy enough to be on the field.
That's where I am.
So if you want to fix this Bengals offense, put somebody in there who can run the stretch play under center, who can run play action rollout, who can find Jamar Chase, who's always fucking open. I don't see the Bengals having success if one, Joe Burrow's not relatively healthy. The ability to move is huge. I know he's not a big mobility guy anyway, but Tom Brady wasn't either. But if Tom Brady couldn't maneuver the pocket, shit didn't look good for him.
But that's his biggest pocket mobility comp, and Joe's more athletic than Tom. We always talk about that. He can't make those little movements that buy him an extra 20 yards. You can't make those little movements that buy him 5 on 3rd and 4. Like the thing Trevor Lawrence did where on the first 4th down of the game, he ducks under homeboy, hits Ridley for the touchdown. Like, Joe's movements are so good when he's healthy. He's just a sitting duck, to your point.
And as to the running game, you cannot win in the National Football League if you don't have an offense predicated on the run game. And I know that there's examples that prove otherwise, but in large part, you got to run the football. You got to get under center. You got to hit guys with fullbacks, tight ends, play side. And they haven't. They spread everybody out, and they haven't had success.
Kyle, I mean, you could say since he had a short week, off of Monday Night Football, maybe physical game.
We all had short
weeks. The whole
weeks.
thing, you could say, the Bengals first month of the season, throw it out. I think this is different. I do. And this is part of what I was worried about this year with Joe not getting the offseason, Joe with the injury. I mean, you just paid this guy more than any human being who throws a fucking football on the planet, and you got beat by the team that's been trying to replace their quarterback for 2 years.
Mbappe throws it in sometimes.
Yeah, Mbappe, that's true. I knew you'd have one. But, the Titans, all due respect to them, and they're a good football team, right? And they just keep bludgeoning
well
people.
coached, tough. run the
But
ball.
you've beaten them 2 years in a two games in a row. The last 2 games are really painful for those guys, and maybe that's had a lot to do with it. Instead of worrying about them coming to town, you're worrying about getting your shit together. 3 touchdowns through 3 weeks. No third down conversion till the 9-minute mark to go in the game. And Burrow said it. He looks like a statue. You can't move the pocket. Higgins, the thing has gone to shit. He's hurt.
Yep.
Like, so if you're thinking about ever moving him
Switch
or
the number
paying
back.
him, like, I don't know what's going on there.
Push the number back.
Yeah. They had it going like drive 1. If you watch the first 10 plays of this offense, you were like, oh, they're back.
Mm-hmm.
But in the red zone, it just stalls, and then they get them to third downs. Like, Tennessee started walking people up late in the run front, and they just run into heavy boxes. And they don't seem to have adjustments for the situation they're in. And then they get in third down, and Joe would just get pummeled. So defense couldn't stop Henry, even with stacked boxes. I've seen Marvin Lewis's name been thrown around online from Bengals fans, which means they're starting to get really
Marvin Lewis.
They're like, this feels like Marvin Lewis again, that sort of thing. And I also saw a Bengals fan make this point, and we made this point before with Joe Burrow. We made it early in his career, and I thought they got away from it. But you worry that a guy like him, who's supremely talented, who's got the it factor, who's tough to a fault, because I think he shouldn't be in this game, and he'll stand back there and take hits, and it's gotten him in trouble. Andrew Luck was the same way, and Andrew Luck was more athletic, but the way they mismanaged his career in Indy, I'm worried they're going to look back at Joe Burrow and say, hey, what might have been? I mean,
this
that guy
was the guy
in the
that we were
Super
like,
Bowl.
this was the guy that was like Tom Brady
Yeah.
2.0. This is the guy that we've been waiting, the traditional white quarterback.
Well,
what
yeah,
I'm
like
saying?
the traditional,
You know?
traditional just lawn deer with a little bit more, the last relic of like
but
yesteryear.
with moxie
With
and
moxie.
toughness.
He's
and
like a modernized Tom
they're
Brady.
gonna knock the moxie right out of him.
Yeah, yeah.
On the other side of things, you mentioned Derrick Henry running the ball well. I want to give a big shout out to the Titans offensive line. Goes on the road, gets a huge performance and win. Last week they were embarrassed.
Yeah, they were down Skoronski.
But you get embarrassed against a superior defense, and you show up this week against a dominant offense or a dominant defense. Have been the Bengals here have been good. You just run them out of the stadium.
And I know Taylor's seat's not hot because they don't do shit like fire coaches early in Cincy. That owner doesn't want to spend any money; it doesn't have to.
They
But
don't even know what colors their team is.
But I would be like, hey, if you can't manage this quarterback situation better, you're gone. Because he looked like the future, and it would be really sad if in 20 years I'm telling Waylon at dinner, like, you should have seen Joe Burrow. I know you didn't get to see him, but when you were like 5, he was unbelievable.
But do you think they have
But by the
pressure?
time you were 7, he was shot.
yeah.
Do you think they have pressure from up top because they did just pay him that like he needs to be on the field?
If they do, it's dumb. Because
every-
that's all the
every
more
team's
reason to
different,
take care
right?
of him.
Yeah,
Every team's
That's all the
different.
more reason to take care of him.
of
You know,
course. But like some teams feel like, yo, like we need to win now.
It's a
like this is
snowstorm.
important.
You just got that Bentley. Go drive it. You know, like it's hailing out there. Why wouldn't you drive your Bentley? Like things are fucked up right now. You just bought a Bentley. Keep it in the garage. Like just punt on the thing for a couple weeks. So anyways, I don't want to say like, hey,
Tannehill,
Bengals.
really good game. Derrick Henry, slow to start, fast to finish. And I know those type of games when you run a defense out of the building,
Yeah.
there's not a better locker room feeling after a game than dominating up front.
And we're going to talk about the AFC North in a second, but like, yeah, Tennessee bludgeoning people, Gibson, Key, Autry, Simmons up front, they're scary.
Simmons, bro, is such a problem.
And Henry looking like Derrick Henry. I know the last 2 games against this team didn't feel good. It had to feel good for Ryan Tannehill. And to his credit, although they've been really inconsistent, this was a really good game from him and them. So
Dead or alive, Ryan Tannehill.
he's like Keith Richards.
You can't kill that guy.
Like he's hard to kill.
Yep.
You got an ad read for me, Reed. I hate buying tickets. I've been playing my whole life, never had to buy tickets, just for a bunch of my friends that would always text me the day before the game and think tickets are free. You got any tickets this week? The ticket part is stressful, but buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer deals, you seen Fiddler on the Roof, Kyle?
Heard of it.
With killer deals on last-minute tickets and the best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hype for the fun you'll have. And with the Game Time app, it's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Chris Stapleton's coming to Charlottesville. That's right, Kyle.
Oh,
Couple days, I'll be there.
is he going to bring the steel drivers?
Probably not, but it's okay. We'll
Good
take
question,
Chris.
though.
Chris is coming to Charlottesville this week, and guess how I scooped my tickets? The Game Time app. It was easy. I got tickets for the whole crew. Not the whole crew.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to be like,
Damn.
whoa,
I'm
why-
just finding out about this.
You can't write
concert.
these ad reads. These
The
guys-
whole crew, though.
Speaking
that
of the
means
guys
we're
that-
getting tickets.
Speaking of the
Yes,
people that
I can't
speaking of the
wait.
guys who love free tickets, I got the whole crew. I got it from my lovely wife. How I scooped my tickets, Game Time app. It was easy. I got tickets for the whole crew right on my phone, and I did it a few days before the event. True to form. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price.
Do the
If
baseball one again.
Baseball. Baseball.
Go
If
Orioles.
you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you with the 110% difference treatment. I mean, 110%. Didn't know that was a real thing.
That's more than
It's
everything.
Real. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code GREENLIGHT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code GREENLIGHT for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Don't say pizza. That's another one.
Everybody rides.
I'm looking at Kyle like, please don't just start saying pizza after every ad read. That could be your thing.
You want to know a funny story?
CarMax.
Hey, I just thought of
Pizza,
something that
pizza.
was funny.
Oh, yeah.
So MJ and Scottie Pippen used to bet on at the Bulls games. They would have a cup of coffee. Remember the races at Soldier Field? They would have the races on the
Yeah.
jumbotron. It was a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
a donut, and
Yeah.
like some other bakery item. And MJ would get to the stadium so early at the United Center that he would see them running through the test of
Yeah,
it,
he was fucking with Scottie Pippen.
and he would bet Scotty every once in a while for a lot of money. And then some days he would let Scotty win,
For less money.
and then he would beat him.
Uh-huh.
I just-
Hey, that is beautiful, dude.
So I shout out to MJ.
Holy shit, that's awesome. That's the
That's
most
the goat.
MJ thing ever. He would bully people in different ways.
Scotty, I bet the coffee wins.
He just called Scotty Burrell a bitch, and then he'd go drain Pippen's bank account because he knew him.
Larsa would be so angry.
Oh my god! I don't want to talk about that. That's too spicy.
Ooh,
All right,
too much seasoning.
this is a
too much
family.
seasoning.
This is a family show.
Speaking of families,
Okay, so yeah, exactly. I want to talk about the.
Football.
I want to talk about the. I want to talk about the AFC South. I think is what I want to talk about.
Yes.
But we can't do that without first dumping on the Steelers because they lost to the Texans, and I don't know what's going on with Kenny Pickett's knee. But I'm excited to see Mitchell Trubisky,
Dude.
Kyle.
I'm so pumped for Mitch, and I hate it for Kenny.
Yeah, it's tough.
You and I have been through terrible injuries,
Yeah.
Nate. I'm sure you have too.
And who knows? It might not be an ACL.
But when you see a knee, you can't help but think the worst. So we saw Trubisky briefly, but obviously the same thing with the the backup quarterback game plan is different than the starting quarterback. We're gonna see a Mitch Trubisky game plan, Steelers fans. So don't burn your jerseys yet.
yeah.
He's a guy that's got moxie. We want to talk about moxie. He's got it. I'm looking forward to him playing. And yeah, the Steelers, they suck.
Steelers
Hammered
here-
the Najee Harris bets
all the props under or over?
over.
You like
Over.
That's a fucking brave soul that's gonna be hammering Najee Harris.
I think they're gonna have like
Check
new
down.
quarterback. You got to run the ball. You got to establish the run for him. You got to.
I don't know if there's that much of a difference right now the way Kenny was playing.
No.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
No,
is like,
no.
and I don't think you say the Steelers suck. They did, and they do. They've been blown out in half their games. Like I don't know, like a Mike Tomlin's team that starts the season like this. I'm kind of shook up about it. I mean, like they're supposed to have a high floor. If anything, low ceiling, high floor.
They'll be above 500.
I hope. I got the fucking over
Well,
win
statistically
total.
speaking, Tomlin.
I fucking pray, Kyle. But
CJ Stroud.
But they're not burning jerseys, Kyle. They're burning headsets. They're burning Matt Canada's headset.
Ooh.
They didn't do some headset burning.
They're
'cause
burning syrup.
I've just had enough. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like the Steelers' offense the past couple of years has been the same old thing. No growth. You get 2-man out into fucking route with 8 guys waiting back there. The zone spacing's bad. They don't work cohesively. We talked about after San Francisco, guys just like not knowing how to extend downs and find voids in zones. Like they just in the passing game, it's so vanilla and it's not even like sound. You know, like if it's gonna be vanilla, let's make it sound.
Yep,
It's like
clean
unsound
vanilla.
and vanilla. Yeah, it's like dirty vanilla.
Yeah.
And so Freiermuth and Robinson not separating. I mean, like the O-line play has Pickett a little spooked, but the offense in general, the scheme is the problem. And, you know, like Pickett could be the problem. I don't know, but I can't give him a complete report card in this offense, just like I can't give Justin Fields all the time a complete report card in that Chicago offense, the way they've failed to progress.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But, like, I just think it's alarming for the Steelers. And I'm not going to spend much more time on it because they have played their way into a small breakdown.
Trubisky, go out there, play fearless, do your thing. You've been a Pro Bowler before. You've got weapons around you. You've got a bunch of guys who are like, fuck it at this point. Yeah. Go do your thing, man. We're all behind you. Whatever happens, we got your back.
Yeah, Mitch.
Love Mitch.
Don't fuck it up, Mitch! I got a lot of money on you fuckers!
Stop.
I do.
I do.
You put a season future on them. That was your dangerous team.
I also have the Raiders under. I also have the Ravens over. I also have so I've been winning. I've been
you and me
thinning and winning.
Steelers gang.
But I like the
for
Steelers.
life.
I like the Steelers. Steelers high floor. We thought. All right, Texans. Texans have a high floor, dude.
Will he see that? Will Mitch see that? Mitch needs to see that.
Mitch, you need to see that. That's gonna be the difference for you. If you see Kyle pointing at the camera,
screaming.
Like a wrestling promo. Oh, Mitch Trubisky,
Who do
brother.
they got next week coming
Who
to
we got?
Field? You
I
wanna
don't know
give
who's
him
playing.
57 different ingredients of dominance, Mitch Trubisky, today for the Polskis.
I want to take that
Tar
kid and snap his little neck.
For Menor, Ohio, everybody in the Ohio River Valley.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Today.
Mike Tomlin, brother, you got to walk down to Matt Canada's office and you have to delete him from the building.
Yes.
When I get through with Matt Canada, he won't be allowed back in America.
Send him on one of the 3 rivers north.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm glad we did that.
All right.
I feel like I need a Slim Jim now.
CJ Stroud, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Is that
All
Booker
right.
T? Booker T?
Booker T, bro. He used to shoot the best promos. Sometimes he forgot he was shooting promo. All right. I love
You remember
Booker T.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the only one who's allowed to remember that. All right. So we have the Texans, man. The offense just continues to move along. And that's the cool thing is like the Texans offense, like Stroud didn't have to do anything spectacular yesterday. And they scored 30 points again. And I'm happy for this kid.
He had 300.
He's having everybody to his house for dinner. He's got dinner every night.
That's great.
Guy's a pro's pro. Guys coming through, getting some food in the to-go boxes.
When the Bears defense was good before I was there with
Yeah,
Urlacher and
yeah.
Briggs and Tillman,
Yeah.
Urlacher had those guys over there every night.
Yeah.
And on the Friday they had
Yeah.
casino night. They
Yeah.
did stuff together.
Yeah.
This is how it is.
Yeah,
This
we
is how
did.
it's
Do you think
supposed to be in the
D'Amico had a
NFL.
hand in this?
But you know what's nice, Kyle?
You think D'Amico was like, do this?
Yeah, maybe. All these guys are young. Like, there's a lot of young guys on the team. They have a sprinkling of vets. Like, they have their Robert Woods is their fucking TCU Jerry Hughes, who I love. Like, they have those older
I hated
guys.
playing him too.
He's a great player. But he's had a great career. But Slowick's doing a great job. I like in the run game, helping Stroud not make big mistakes. Like, listen, the run game hasn't been explosive. You've been trying to get Dameon Pierce back on it, but yesterday they hit the perimeter really nicely. Again, he didn't have to make tough throws. Like, he made tough throws, but it wasn't like the first thing on the menu. And they have the O-line down. They've got guys up, who aren't supposed to be up. They don't have stars on offense, in my opinion. and they've scored 70 points the past 2 weeks against Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. And the defense is so fucking well coached, Kyle. Like, I'm going to change from trying to make Waylon into a Jaguars fan to a Texans fan. Because I love this team.
Tax reasons.
Tax reasons. I also love DeMeco Ryans, man. I mean, we've been hyping this guy up. Great for defensive coaches, man. You know, usually you see defensive coach, look at what's going on with the Eberflus. Look at what's going on with, like...
Buddy, we're not there yet.
And every time a defensive coach gets in there, I feel like... And that pipeline thing is fucked up because it does. It eliminates a lot of coaches who are good coaches. It eliminates a lot of coaches of color. Like DeMeco Ryans, minority head football coach, going in there dominating. You can't keep these guys out of the league, man. I'm just really happy for a DC who played in the league, who I played against, young coach, going in there and balling out, and his defense is well fucking coached. They don't have a bunch of stars, but they understand leverage. They play hard. They got good people, and it rubs off on the entire team. I told you last week, watching DeMeco Ryans get their game ball, usually I don't fall for that shit. Yesterday, Denver, they gave Sean Payton the game ball. It was like so vanilla. I was like, just give him the fucking game ball.
Just give him the
already.
sleeves he cut
Just
off. Man.
give him the game ball. Yeah, give him his sleeves too. But when DeMeco got the game ball, I was like, I'm in, bro. Like, I just want to play for DeMeco. I want to watch them. I want to root for them as a player. Seems like a good place to be. So hats off to CJ Stroud. Hats off to that offense. Hats off to defense. I don't have any fucking hats.
I said it on Tops yesterday. I said CJ Stroud's going to throw 300 against this defense, who is allowing the league least.
We don't like you plugging Tops.
And you know
There's
what?
Greenlight live stream
CJ
going.
Stroud, my guy, he's climbing my power rankings.
He's pretty awesome.
Dudes I like.
Yeah, dude, I like. We like him. So, you know, AFC South had a really good day, starting with the Texans, and I'm starting with the Texans. They just beat the Jags. So, are they for real? We'll see.
Best jerseys.
They look sick in that all red. Jacksonville, they got comfortable in London. They started fast. They outgained Atlanta like 150 to 5.
They gave Ridley his early
quarter.
revenge.
They got Ridley going, and I thought hearing Lawrence say, hey, we're getting on the same page. I don't know if you saw that facts with your Jags, but like Ridley just making the adjustment on that 4th and 6 to say, hey, coverage is up. I think it's a busted coverage. I'm going to keep on going.
That shit looked fired in Andy's
It
room.
really did.
It looked so fire, that touchdown.
Yeah.
Like they put a little zip or like a little like flame stream on the
Tracer.
ball
Tracer.
or something, and
On
the
the Toy Story
touchdown.
thing?
Yeah.
So you watched that touchdown on Toy Story.
Yeah.
I watched the whole game in Toy Story, bro. I'm telling you, it was amazing.
I cannot believe it.
What would be another version of that Toy Story? Like, what other cartoon would you put in there?
Ooh, another cartoon.
We'll think about it. Moving on.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's good, though. Family Guy. Stewie's the football.
Peter.
South
Yeah.
Park.
South Park. South Park. Good one.
Cartman as the ref.
Good one. Good one.
Respect my authority.
The heavy package is Stan's dad with the balls in the wheelbarrow.
Oh, we're live.
You
I
know,
almost said a
like
really
you
bad
can't,
joke.
they can't figure out what plays to call. You know the episode with the manatees, and they're making fun of Family Guy, and they're like, "This is how we pick the topics." That's how Nathaniel Hackett's picking. It's just manatees.
Manatees
over there.
deciding the
Aaron's like,
episode.
"No, I said dolphin. This is for the play selection."
Yes.
So, anyways, like, yeah, that would work. But I just thought, like, with no Zay Jones going, they get Kirk, they get Ingram going. I thought Lawrence looked good with his legs and throwing the football. This was a get-right game for them. I've said this. Jacksonville's not in huge trouble. They had to get on the same page. They're doing that. It's week 4. Let's not panic. They took care of business at home because this is like a home game for them. They're just staying in fucking London. But
Was that Tottenham?
I don't know. The pitch looked slick.
The Hotspurs?
Yeah. Just as importantly, though, Kyle, they got the rush going last week. There's nothing more emasculating, Nate, and you know this. It's not even the run game because that can be really emasculating, but most people don't pay attention to run fits. Like, if you don't get sacks against a group that all week the media is writing about, you're supposed to get after this group. It's in division. You're supposed to. It's at home. The whole thing. They have 4 hits on C.J. Stroud. You know, they show up this week. They go across the pond, and Josh Allen has 3 sacks. They get after Desmond Ridder a little bit. And I just want to get to Desmond Ridder because I tweeted this yesterday. And Falcons fans, I want
water.
I want our relationship to be good, and I think it comes with communication. Any relationship, any marriage, and I want to marry all 32 of the fan bases. So I want to foster good communication. I want you guys to like us, but I also have to be honest with you. I don't think Desmond Ritter's it. I said that in the YouTube, and it's funny. People were calling me drunk and all this shit, and I went back during the third quarter of the game, was answering all the YouTube, so I answer some of the
You're not
comments,
wrong.
too. Somebody was like, this fucking loser. I was like, how you doing this morning? Hope you lost some money on the game. And I do. But for those of you who have an open mind, Desmond Ridder is not the guy. I say this because every fucking article I opened this morning was, after only throwing one interception in his first 7 starts, I'm like, people are not watching the games. You know, people are accusing me of not watching the games. You're not watching the games. He's number one in turnover-worthy plays, and people have thrown the ball. There's 24 people on the planet who have thrown the ball more than him. He's a starting quarterback in the league. Okay, so, like, just yesterday, the difference was they caught the fucking ball. Okay? And the thing that worries me is they're seeing a shit ton of loaded boxes. And Bijan Robinson, he goes like what?
115 against
105.
14
rushes for 105. He faced 7 defenders in the box, 10 to 14 carries.
That sucks.
You cannot argue with me on this thing. Teams are saying,
I dare you.
yeah, I dare you, Desmond.
Yep.
I double dog dare you.
Our
And-
offensive coordinators used to say it is disrespectful what they're doing to us on defense.
And you know what? If I'm Taylor Heineke, who I made the point yesterday, you know, Taylor Heineke was on this show last week, or not last week, last year, and he was talking about, you know, a bunch of things. But when I brought up the Allman Brothers, he didn't know a single song. So I do think it's Heineke time, but he should have to do a presentation before he takes the field where he
rookie
like tells
show.
Arthur Smith or the entire team. Most of the team's probably like, I don't know who the Allman Brothers are either, which is fucking sad. But it's going to be a stormy Monday in Atlanta.
Living in a new
You know,
world.
It's going to be a stormy Monday there. It probably already is. It's not my cross to bear, guys. It's yours. But I think the Falcons probably have to make a change. You know, this team has dreams. And for Arthur Smith, there's only one way out.
I want to be a part of this arty party. You know what I mean? Like, it is fun. And
Yeah.
I'm an O-lineman. I love Bijan. I love the weapons. And I love the mustache. And
Yeah.
I just wish I could get down with the quarterback, too, because that is a city that will rally around a better than okay quarterback. And Desmond is just
And do you think
Okay.
Pitt's done somebody wrong? Nobody knows Allman Brothers songs. I just Taylor Swifted you guys for like
no.
3 minutes straight.
Hold on, Chris. Stick with me here on the
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts thing.
He
What,
did
what
the-
team would Kyle Pitts be best on?
The Raiders.
Wait, I just thought about this. I thought about this yesterday.
Texans?
The Raiders.
No. Who needs a tight end? The Bengals could use a tight end like a motherfucker.
Dallas
The
Cowboys,
Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. Could you imagine Kyle Pitts in Dallas?
Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins? Not that the Dolphins actually care to use a tight end.
Right.
Too slow. Kyle Pitts, too slow.
I'm forgetting somebody obvious because yesterday I was thinking about this, but
Not the Bears. Did you see Cole Kmet yesterday?
you know who the Falcons could use, and Falcons fans are pointing this out. Justin Fields.
Dude, let's make it happen.
So we'll talk about that in a second.
And then we'll get Caleb Williams. We'll trade Justin Fields for Kyle Pitts
Yeah.
and a pick
Yeah.
or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get Caleb Williams. We'll get Jim Harbaugh.
Wow.
We'll go get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wow.
with the first and second picks. And we'll get some football going.
Kyle, you just wrote the script.
Wow.
I hope you wrote the script. Yeah, I hope for everybody you wrote the script. I hope for Justin Fields you wrote
Go
the
Bears!
Yeah.
Mike Ditka. You remember that game?
Yeah.
2015? His face was frozen.
Mike Ditka could do a meme promo.
Dude.
With that
He's the
cigar in his
GOAT.
mouth.
He's the GOAT. From like a smoky office somewhere.
With sunglasses.
Oof.
Okay, so then lastly, the Colts. They almost swept the thing. I mean, we talked about the Titans. The Colts almost got this thing done for the AFC South, but they just couldn't quite do it. Big comeback. I'm not going to talk a lot about this game, but Puka, most receiving yards through 4 games, all time, up there with
Yeah.
like
He's just ahead of Cooper Kupp in 21.
Yep.
And then the 2012 Calvin Johnson year.
both guys that Matthew Stafford has thrown to. So Matthew Stafford's thrown to all these guys.
Nakua Matata.
It means no worries.
That means no worries. Throw me the ball.
I was like, thank God it's not a Taylor Swift joke.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good to get one of those. But the guys, I mean, like the longer it goes, you're like, maybe he is this good.
Jonathan Jones, week 1, said, with tongue in cheek, he said that Puka Nakua is the greatest draft steal of all time after week 1.
Well,
And
maybe
after week
maybe
4,
it
I'm
shouldn't
like,
be tongue in cheek.
hey, what the fuck?
Well, also you have to consider like for Puka, I'd hate for Cup to come back and take some of his targets.
Ugh.
You know, like how do they work Cup in and share the target shitload. You
They're
know.
gonna have
Luka
to
seems
cup
like a
him
guy
off.
that can play every wide receiver position. Probably knows all of them
Yeah,
too.
no, the guy's tough too. He got blasted yesterday. I want to get to the uglies. The uglies is what I'm calling. Basically, the way I'm going to do this thing, guys, behind the curtain. There's a lot of shows that give you game by game by game, and I know some of you might like that, but it's impossible for me to do. I like work weaving in and out, but there will be some games that are just ugly, and we're going to put them in the back of the
It could
garage.
get ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
in here.
We might be able to play. We might be able to play that going into. That's good.
Shout
We
out
get
to
that
Bubba
sounder.
Sparks.
Uh-huh.
Bubba Sparks is cool.
For the
Yeah.
culture.
Seems like.
I love Bubba.
So we've got for the culture. For what culture in the game? of
White rap culture.
In rap.
White
in
rap culture, dude.
I do not. I'm
White
not.
Southern Paul
I'm
Wall.
not usually a white rapper guy.
Paul
but,
Wall.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now you're making some good points.
Okay.
'Cause
Okay.
Have
Paul
you
Wall-
seen Paul Wall's business venture?
You see
Yes.
Paul Wall with gray hair?
Paul Wall
Yes.
is the man.
Yeah, yeah.
He is the man.
Yeah, yeah.
Still
What up,
swaggy.
Paul?
All right. So
Chrome lips poking out.
yeah. So here's the uglies, man. Number one ugly game, and I'm ranking these by games that are actually fun to watch. You got to be Khalil Mack and the Chargers. Not only did we get something that we're going to mention in mentions that's going to be spicy, but we got 6 sacks. And for all the people, the great rushers that have played in this game, only one has ever had 7 in a game, and his name was Derek Thomas. God rest his soul. The guy that when people talk about him, when you're around my dad or some of these old guys that played, and Derek Thomas' name comes up, it's like reverence. You just feel the air come out of the room, and it's just like
Like when they talk about Walter Payton.
it's Walter Payton, it's Derek Thomas, it's Barry Sanders, guys like that. There's you should have seen it. And Khalil Mack to do this, we had him on a month ago maybe, and I was talking to him about his 5 or 6 sack game against Osweiler and the Broncos, of course, God's team, and he broke Howie Long's record or tied it. And
Heard of him?
yeah, and it was just cool to hear his mindset in a game like that. Do you know that it's going to be a game like that for you, that sort of thing? Well, he's looking up in the third, fourth quarter, and he's like, I could break the record. And he damn near did it on a couple occasions, but he got power from both sides. He did some speed, and I thought, as a rusher, it's really hard for me to imagine. I can remember a few games where you got 2, and, you end up with 3, or you fall just short of 3. Josh Allen made history yesterday. First guy to have 3 sacks in London. I had a fingertip on number 3 against the Jags a couple years ago.
Damn.
I could have came up for 5 minutes yesterday since Chris Long. Who the fuck is that? Oh, yeah, the wash guy. But Derek Thomas, his record, Khalil Mack chasing it, and that last sack going 6 sacks on a stutter speed. It was his freakiest rush of the day. At this age, this far removed from the Brock game, everything that's going on in LA, he's a hero, man. This is heroic stuff. They could not lose this game. If they lost this game, after that 4th down, 2 weeks in a row, Staley,
Crazy.
I mean, they were going to fire him maybe. The bye week next week? Is the bye week next week?
Yep.
Buddy, I don't know how close he's been to getting axed the last 2 weeks. They needed this game.
And Khalil Mack's favorite month, yo. October. Halloween's coming up.
Oh, yeah, he
that's
hates
his
Halloween.
Yeah.
He hates Halloween.
We saw the
You hate Halloween.
the Tillery hit.
Pagan holiday.
Saw the Tillery hit on the sideline.
We'll save it for
Okay,
mentions.
okay, good.
Save it for mentions.
Because it's worth mentioning.
Oh yeah, the Denver comeback. Reed, it's so funny because usually when we break down a Denver game, I can't tell who won. Even in this situation, I don't feel like you guys won, but you won, right?
We
'Cause you
won,
were
but we
down-
didn't win.
Yeah, give
you
us
know?
the.
Yeah, because the
What did you
Cowboys-
see
Yeah.
in the first half? What did you see in the second half? Because there were 2 different games.
Well, yeah, there were 2 different games for sure, but boy, did Justin Fields look like he was all world in that first half, as a byproduct of that soft as Swiss cheese Denver Broncos defense.
7-on-7.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Now, the turning point, as we all know, was losing the sleeves. We had
Yeah.
Sean Payton out there, and he was like, "Fuck my sleeves."
He's like
Get these
Sunday
out of
Tiger
here.
Woods with no sleeves.
Yes,
That's his
exactly.
Sunday Tiger Woods thing.
Exactly. And Matt
And as
Eberflus
soon
was
as
like,
he
"The
cut 'em
sleeves
off-
gone." Oh,
You can see him on the ground.
yeah, that was great. They did a tight shot on the sleeves. Sleeves are gone.
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there, but
Dude,
one on top of the other.
You ever make wardrobe changes during the game because you just felt weird, whether it was an arm brace or fucking something they had you put on
Yeah.
to.
My
you're
arm
just
brace always came
Get
off.
the fuck out of here, dude. That's what Sean Payton did. And I want to say this, Kyle. I'm sure you're going to have a take on Justin Fields, but these are the type of games that keep you in it on him. And I know it's Vance Joseph, and I know it's the Broncos defense, but again, the problem is not his ability to throw the football.
Nope.
There's processing issues, okay, but those can be alleviated with good coaching and good scheme. Like
Bad coverage.
and bad coverage can allow you to showcase your arm. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, like, hey, over my career, I learned things that allowed me to process pre-snap better and during the snap as a defensive lineman. Way different than being a quarterback or an offensive lineman. But it's undeniable that you can improve on how the game slows down. You hear all the time, games slowing down for him. The game is not going to slow down for him if he doesn't get games like this where he can actually make throws. And I thought him making the throws, whatever the issues are on his end, they weren't there yesterday because Vance Joseph's defense is so abhorrent.
He was confident with what he saw.
But he was confident.
He was confident with what he saw. We heard he was going to cut it loose last week. It didn't appear to be the case. He really did cut it loose this week.
He cut it loose.
And the play that was really, you can have all the touchdowns down the field, spread the field. That's awesome. They did great in their own territory, middle of the field, enemy territory. But when they get down to the red zone and Justin gets to scramble around a little bit, and he could have scored with his legs, I think, but he made the smart decision. He made the athletic move to jump, throw it behind him.
Red zone stuff was awesome.
That is what number 15 in red does every week.
Yeah.
That's what the great quarterbacks do. So it's not black and white, this is wrong, this is right. There are those plays, to your point, that make you go, there's more than something there with Justin Fields. What is the issue? And after yesterday, there's no question in my mind that with the game plan in the second half, the way they approached that lead, it's the coaches.
Yeah, and Kyle, the tragedy is you might never know because they might play this thing out and Justin just kind of, I don't know if he gets a second act, but the way they give these other fucking quarterbacks second act.
Their first 15 was spectacular, but then their last 40 was atrocious.
Well, okay, and I don't know. I looked at every throw he made, and obviously he wants that rushes on him quick on that naked. On that boot action deal. And I don't know what you do there. You turn in trying to throw the ball. I'm not that good at coaching quarterback, but dirt it. But there was it was like, whoa, holy shit.
I'll tell you what, a penalty is better than a turnover.
Oh my God.
A penalty is better than a turnover.
Sack's better than turnover.
Anything is better than a turnover.
Yeah, and I can tell you're irritated with Justin a little bit, but I think your coaches are shitting down their legs every week.
They're coaching scared.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on there. So I can't put it all on Justin. Just like last week, I'm like,
no, Justin did what he was supposed to do.
I'm afraid to hop all the way off. I was getting the step stool to hop off last week. I think I'm doing this. I got some bumps and bruises because I'm just getting dragged along the ground, holding on to the fucking hubcap.
His first half was just as good as Tua's first half.
Statistically, against Denver, it was.
Which is wild.
It was almost better.
I think it was better.
His only miss was that Hail Mary.
I think it was better.
Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns. He had fucking all that, but they're just,
It was like Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
I tweeted out early in the game, we should play the Broncos every week.
But that would be pretty
2 hours
painful.
later, old takes exposed hits me with a screenshot, and I'm getting killed in the mentions. Yeah.
I love it.
But I said, yes, I said that, and then parentheses I said, but I did pick the Broncos.
That's sad.
It's called hedging.
That's macabre. Kyle, that's all right. San Francisco. I'm not gonna say much about San Francisco, but they just took care of business.
Christian McCaffrey hurdling guys.
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCrafty.
He's
McCrafty.
Craft. This guy, dude. Now I'm doing flag football with the kids. And there's a bunch of kids that a couple years ago I would have said, hey, maybe play a different position. Running back might not be for you. But then Christian McCaffrey comes out there.
Great white hope, baby.
And he's giving these little kids, no
love for Mike Allstott.
But anyways, 4 touchdowns. And Nolan was talking about this. The usage is a little much, maybe early in the season.
Yeah.
Just considering his history. But They're riding him like Secretariat, and I looked up and just at one point, because you're not watching this game, I'll watch it in a day or two. Maybe fans, you can tell me what happened. I got to watch 17 of them or 16, however the fuck many games. This is one I haven't watched yet on End Zone. I'm looking up like the third quarter. I'm like, what's been going on in this game? Top left TV, 21-16 or something, and Gannon's like strutting around, looking cool as shit, with his sunglasses on, his tight T-shirt. Everybody made fun of him. Pew pew, shots verticals. People had their yeah, you're the big guy, the big guard. He's like, yeah, we're going for 2. Takes his playbook. He's walking back. He looks like a fucking head coach, dude. He's out there head coaching, and he's got these guys out there playing, dude.
And
They're playing with everybody.
I like Josh Dobbs. He delivered a couple strikes to a rookie receiver. He had his first touchdown yesterday. And he hit him again over the middle. He hit him in the corner of the end zone. Then he hit him in the middle. I mean, that's like, oh, I like you.
They finally got
I'm going to
his
keep throwing to
jersey.
you.
Yeah.
They finally got his jersey.
Got his jersey from the pro shop. What a great video that was, too. He's a likable dude.
Way to hold them
Josh,
I love
accountable.
Dobbs.
Way to hold them accountable. I'm a rental. I'm not going to take this shit. You know, like fucking get my jersey going. Minnesota.
Plenty of people wish they had Josh Dobbs right now.
Minnesota, thank you for taking care of business, Minnesota. On a personal note, the Panthers ran the ball 30 times, just couldn't do it. Like, this is not a good setup. You know, it's just not a good setup for Bryce. I thought there were better moments. Like, I saw some moments watching this game, but the offense still as a whole is got a lot of work to do. And, you know, Minnesota, I think, picking up their first win, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So that under win total is nice and safe and sound. I'm not going to, what are we, 30 seconds on this game?
22.
We're knee deep in the uglies. Okay? Let's just get
We're
to the,
bumping uglies out
We're
here.
bumping uglies in the back. I'm going to bump this ugly and get to the next one, the hanger game. I call this the hanger game because it's a game that might as well have been played in a hangar.
At Area
Honestly,
51.
in New Orleans, sometimes it looks like the game is being played in a hangar. The lighting in there, it's kind of hard to watch. These Saints and Bucs games, they used to be for a hiccup. I feel like they were Breeze and Brady. And then it was like Brady and Jameis, I feel like. And nobody scores. It's like, actually, there was a lot of scoring yesterday because Baker's out there strutting around. There's nobody with a more confident walk right now than Baker
Playing with house
Mayfield.
money,
He's
Baker Mayfield.
just a unit out there, just a hoss walking around.
What do you have,
with-
3 tuds and a pick?
He looked pretty good, and Canales is
That's
doing a
balling.
good job. Canales is doing a good job. He hit 7 different receivers. But the real story for me is, how long are we going to sit here talking about, and I'm looking at you, Falcons. I'm looking at you. Again, it's not my cross to bear. I'm looking at you. Make the change. Look around the division. New Orleans sputtering. Can't even beat the Bucs. The Bucs might make the fucking playoffs,
Yeah.
dude. To my chagrin, because I put on the stupid long odds. Oh, they're not going to make the playoffs. Well, fuck me. The NFC South sucks. I didn't get the memo how bad this is going to be. And Carmichael, everybody's talking about coordinators. Everybody's talking about Canada. Everybody's talking about Getsy. Everybody's talking about, like, teams not taking the next step. This team here has quietly not taken the next step offensively in years, I feel like. And if you're going to transition out of the Breeze era, you got to do something new here because it's not working. Like, New Orleans passing game, predictable. Like, just easy to figure. You look at their heat chart after the game. The middle of the field, it's like it's not an option.
It's a food desert.
You know, yeah. And if they don't go there, Kamara's back. They don't get the run game going. He accounts for like 45% of their offense. 10 straight games without 21 points for the Saints. So Ronald Curry, I know, is down there, I read, and he called some plays, and he's a painful name to bring up for Virginia fans because if you don't, do you know this history?
UNC.
So he was at UNC. He was this great quarterback.
Yes.
And Ronald Curry committed to Virginia.
Like a biscuit type.
Yeah. And Ronald, with more hype coming out. Ronald Curry committed to Virginia. Mike Vick was going to come to Virginia. And because Curry committed, he went to Tech. Musical chairs game ends with Ronald Curry going down to UNC, decommitting from Virginia. So around here,
the rest is
not
history.
real popular. Got a lot of respect for the guy. Evidently a good coach, has been calling some plays down there. And then, you know, like somebody said, Gruden out of the shadows could be interesting because Carr is back there floundering.
Man.
As bad as their relationship seemed at times, maybe you could bring him in as a consultant, or something like that. But they got Olave, they got Michael Thomas, they got
So many
Shaheed, they got
guys.
Kamara, they got Foster Moreau, Juwan Johnson. Like, why are you scoring 10 points a game?
Make it happen, Captain.
Just make it happen. And for the Atlanta Falcons, look around, man. Look around.
You're like one dude away.
Last thing I'll say on Ritter, third rounder, I don't go to the wall for a third rounder. That's just the way it is in the NFL at quarterback, especially on a team where you're ready to win right now. And that's the calculus.
I've
How
been
much do I
around
have
third round
invested in
position
this guy?
players who don't have the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly. I saw a guy in the before the old CBA, actually, which makes it even worse, third rounder get cut in camp because he just wasn't good
Walk away with 10 mil.
on the Rams.
Yeah.
So if the Rams can cut a third
Position,
rounder,
what
I'm
position?
not saying cut Desmond Ritter. I don't think
Don't
he's
dox him.
I don't think he's a bad player.
Mouth it to me.
I said I don't remember his name. All right, but like I don't.
I was
like,
a big Rams fan at
There's
that
probably a
time.
reason. So he was so lazy too. The guy would just like walk around on the field. Now Ritter's not a bad guy. He's not lazy. Now you did see him and Mac Hollins yesterday.
Oh,
He went to give Mac
buddy.
Hollins a high five, and Mac's not that kind of guy.
I don't know Mac at all
Nicest person. in
because
the
I don't
world.
know him.
We used to play all these stupid games in the locker
But
room.
I was like,
me,
that's
Matt,
fucked up,
Nate,
Mac.
me, Mac, Nate Sudfeld. But you had to figure if Mac's mad at you,
Then you've done something wrong.
then you've done something wrong. And I don't mean like you fucked him over. It's just like you're just not doing the things you're supposed to do out
You're
there.
not that guy, pal.
And all you're not that guy, pal. And all I'm saying is, you owe it to your team to get a second look. That doesn't mean Ritter will never play again. Just fucking ride the hot hand. And right now, he's not the hot hand because look around the division.
Same
man.
thing, like in Chicago. I mean, you're dealing with a top pick with Justin Fields, but people were asking for Tyler Badgett. I mean, they moved him up to second string quarterback, and people were saying if it doesn't happen against the Broncos, then we're going to see Badgett next week. And Justin Fields goes out and shows what he can do.
Now the difference there is you've invested a 1 in this guy. He's the future
Versus a
you
3.
hope, of your franchise, and he has a lot of top end
But
skills
similar in
that Ritter doesn't.
question
have.
marks.
I don't want to compare Justin Fields.
No,
to
I'm
Ritter.
not. I'm comparing
Yeah.
the situation. I'm
Yeah,
comparing fan
yeah.
bases just bitching about their quarterback.
Yeah, no question. Fans get emotional about quarterbacks. The projection is that we have something out for the guys like you, who has like a Desmond Ritter poster.
No, we
on
want to
the
see
wall.
good football.
I'm
we
just breaking down 32.
we want to
teams
see
here.
all the games come
I
down
like
to a
the
2-minute
Falcons.
drive.
Okay. All right. Too much Desmond Ritter. All right. Awards, mentions, whatever you want to call them. But first, Kyle, this is where you shine.
Pizza.
Monday is still game day, and game day is the perfect pizza day. So make Little Caesars the official pizza sponsor of the NFL part of your game day.
Pizza.
Order online during our Pizza pregame 1 hour before and 3 hours after NFL kickoffs, plus all day Sunday to have your NFL game day covered. Choose your favorite Little Caesars pizza or pick the toppings you crave. It's a pizza win. And speaking of winning, everyone scores with convenient delivery or our in-store pizza portal pickup. So grab some friends, order your Little Caesars, and enjoy during the games.
Pizza.
Nice, Kyle. I'm going to give you 5% of that ad. Just joking.
Let me know.
Yeah, I think you're getting more than that, maybe. Kyle, I'll give you
Which
a
is
pizza.
good.
I'll give you a pizza. I'll give you a stack of pizzas. What if I just dropped you off 100 pizzas?
I don't need 100, but Little Caesars pizza is great, and I would accept that at any time.
I love Little Caesars. We've been crushing them. I stay away from the nitrates, Kyle. You know, pepperonis.
I
and
don't
stuff.
know.
Okay. You,
That's what goes in cured meats.
yeah. You're not worried about nitrates?
More a guanciale guy,
Okay. What's that?
which is pork as well.
Okay.
Different cut.
Stock
provisions.
Why don't we split a pie this week, you and me?
I'm down.
All right, cool.
You got to come over to my house.
I'd love to.
Okay, great.
Love to. Okay, mentions.
Maybe after the Ninja interview later.
Kyle, unfortunately, I have to get in a car and drive to Philadelphia.
I'm
for
just
my
promoing.
autograph.
I'm promoing.
Okay. Which you can catch on the CW 8/7 Central inside the NFL. Okay. Probably be talking about a lot of the same shit, but just more buttoned up. So just tune
Ryan
in.
Clark was saying that Taylor Swift seems like a likable dude girl. I was like, Ryan.
Well, like she's a guy.
No, he was
gal.
like, yeah. He was
Yeah.
like, she seems cool.
Yeah, she
Like,
is cool. I think she's cool.
Me too. But
And
I was
it's
like,
nothing
I wanted to be like,
personal.
Ryan.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see Blake.
Okay, well, that,
She seems annoying AF.
Who?
T Swift.
Okay, chill out. Next.
why?
She just does.
Yeah.
That picture of them like at the bar, and she's like all over
He's
Kelsey.
like standing there.
What do you- the way she's standing with her.
Just standing there.
She's like with her arm around his neck. She just seems like a little, I don't know.
You know, like
Because I'm not buying
love
into
when
that.
my-
I'm not
when my
buying
lady
into
puts
it.
her
PDA.
arms
I
around
like
my
it when
neck.
my wife jumps up and grabs.
But
my
look,
hand.
but also too on the stream last night, if you guys were paying attention, every time they screened to her, even when nothing was happening, she was like, "Yeah, yeah." You guys didn't
Did
realize
you see
that.
the London game?
She made $3
You were
billion
watching
this
the
summer.
Toy
I would be
Story.
going, yeah.
That's all. That's That's all.
Should we buy this stadium? Yeah.
Yeah. Jackman, Reynolds, and Swift. So,
Off
ain't you
clout.
got a movie coming out in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I know, bro.
Handbag-
This
I
is
got a
what
question.
I tried to tell you that.
No, don't do
tried
that
to tell
me.
you that.
Handbag
Don't
policy.
do
He
that.
last week was like, "This seems like a great relationship." I was like, well, "They got this movie." coming
Everyone
out.
called me crazy because they
No one
think
called
it's-
you crazy.
They think it's such an odd thing to
No.
think that someone that famous
Celebrities-
would still be looking for clout in some way.
Celebrities do because they always want to make more money.
But everyone online
But I
is
think it's
saying
possible
that
that
this
really-
celebrity wouldn't because she's so big.
I think it's possible that they're really smitten. 'Cause I think Travis Kelce's not giving out friendship bracelets to just anybody. And maybe she's using him, but he's happy. He's
No, I think
Bill
it's
Withers in this
I think it's
situation.
Travis
mutually
is great.
beneficial for
Mutually.
both of them. Mutually, for
my
sure.
answer.
That shit mutual as fuck.
Yeah. Okay, it is mutual. All right.
Best flights.
Best flight.
Ugh.
Best flight. Kyle, I'm going with the Bucs. Short flight. I don't know how long a flight from New Orleans to Tampa Bay is. If you know Florida geography, it's on the Gulf side, and that's going to be a short flight because New Orleans is way down there in the corner of the boot. You get a win in a 1 p.m. You get out of there. You've been kicking their ass. Mike Evans is just chilling. He's like, yeah, I didn't get any fights today. We're number one in the division. A month in, they're in Ybor City by 7:00.
Best flight, Atlanta Falcons. Wait a second. Hold on a second. They get to go back to the United States.
Yeah, that's great. Don't you just love when you touch down
I just kissed that ground.
right by the Cinnabon?
Artie kissed
I just get
it.
on my hands and knees by the Cinnabon, and I'm like, America! I cut a promo in front of the fucking
Yeah.
the Hudson News.
I mean, I just told the entire city of London how much better our country is, and then I
Uh-huh.
came back.
Well, if you're gonna do a stinker, do it at 9:30.
Yes, get it out of the
Do
way.
it at 9:30 in the morning. Was the Ryder Cup on at that point?
It was mid cup.
Yes, that's a good time. Just do it during the
Medio
Ryder
Copa.
Cup. Do it during the Ryder Cup. All right. Worst flight. Steelers.
You said it.
Yeah, Steelers.
Back to back.
I mean, just brutal, man. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. It has to be rough on the way home. That's a long flight. Like, it's longer than you think. Houston's way down there. Way down there.
Yeah.
Look at a map of Texas. Kind of a geography segment. Bevel Conway. I'm going to be interested to hear this is for the most beautiful scene in football.
The most beautiful scene in football has got to be the all red Houston Texans jerseys against
Beautiful.
the classic Steelers jerseys. And there's something about a team with a great quarterback. And they've got it.
They have it, dude.
And it looks good.
We like C.J. Stroud.
It looks good.
So I think the most beautiful scene in football might have been I thought Notre Dame looked really cool in Durham, even though you were like, where are they playing? Are they playing in a hangar? Oh, yeah, there was game day there today. But I loved the Christmas setup we had last night, Sunday Night Football, red and green.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this. There was at the LSU Ole Miss game,
Oh, beautiful. That's usually a shoo-in.
but it gets even better than this because when they went to rush the field, obviously we saw a POV of a fan who got hit by a LSU player, and he was
Yeah.
like, "I got that on film." But
I got it on film.
There was also a video of a stadium security guard in the yellow shirt trying to stop people that were rushing the crowd.
just thrown his shoulder to
And he was
everybody.
he was trying to hit people
Yeah.
with his shoulders, and he finally got a girl in
Yeah,
his zip code, and he decleated
He
her.
decleated the girl.
Just
I
some
mean-
big fat guy.
Yeah. He looked like
He was going for
somebody
his
on that
tryout.
Falcons offensive line, or maybe Dillard or something. I mean,
Oh,
we didn't talk about that. Dillard's still struggling in Tennessee. They got to get that thing shored up. But also, yeah, like that Ole Miss fan, classic frat boy running up to tell a bigger
fuck
dude,
LSU.
fuck you,
He
bumps
gets hit.
into him, and the guy's like, I love the POV of the video because you could see him holding the phone, and then for a split second you see the LSU guy, and he's like,
Yeah, you get his face. Yeah.
he's like, boof. And people thought he was going to get a lawsuit out of that. Mostly people are like, yeah,
Which
play
one?
stupid games, win stupid
Which
prizes.
one?
Which
guy?
I mean, I think the fan thinks he's going to get some.
But I'm sure the player would also argue that.
In my opinion,
Exactly.
the
They
player's
don't.
the one who.
Fans have to realize once they jump onto a field, you're technically
jump in the lion
trespassing.
cage, bro.
Like, and they
Bro.
don't, and they don't understand that, and that's the issue. They think, oh, no, my team won though.
Yeah.
Like I get to rush the field. That's the rule. It's not the
I can
rules.
get in somebody's face. I can
You're
bump into somebody.
Jump into a lion's cage at the zoo and
Yep.
think a lion is gonna be
Lion's
all
kink. What is a lion's kink?
a lion's cage.
Except at the zoo, lions aren't very well fed, which is interesting. So they're really hungry, and then they also are not as big and scary as some of the ones out in the. Well, is it that way? I feel like the ones in the zoo might get filet mignon, but the bottom line is these lions are all jacked up, dude.
Yeah.
There's some big jokers out there that can decleat you and put you in
and
a world of
emotional
They're
after
tigers in this case, yeah.
after a game too.
king of the jungle. Tigers are actually king of the jungle.
So that's my
Do you know that? Everybody says lion king of the jungle. Tiger's king of the jungle. Lions don't live in jungles.
That's funny because
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're in
yeah.
jungle.
All right.
a lot of people
This is where it gets good. Hollow Man. There are so many. Do you want to start with yours from?
Yeah, I paid the pay-per-view money for YouTube TV to take a look at the old Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans brawl that was guaranteed to happen again for the fourth straight matchup, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
These guys are maybe getting less ornery
Mm-hmm.
in their older age. I love the Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore trilogy that we've seen.
Yeah.
I looked for the word that follows trilogy. It's a quadripartite.
No way.
That's what they said on
That's
Google.
why they never say that in boxing.
Because it sounds
Like
stupid.
the fourth time they fight.
It sounds stupid.
Yeah.
But Hollow Man is me for assuming that they're going to just fight all the time.
So you were just watching that stupid game, trying to see a fight, and you
I just
want to
see a fight.
Like
Every time the Bucs
34
are on
points.
offense, I switch to it.
Oh, that's bad.
Probably just tell them that you'll pay some of the fines. They probably got tired of getting fined, man.
Well, speaking of fights, there was more fights in the Chargers Raiders game. I was Hillary, bro. That hit was late. Like, and I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because sometimes you're so focused on getting
Bang,
that
bang.
guy
Just want to
down
hit his hip.
that you don't know if he's inbounds or out of bounds. But I think in this situation, it was kind of like.
Predetermined predator missile.
And also, I can tell when you're not well liked while you're getting beat up by your old team.
Yep.
And that was one of those situations. He was in there in the mosh pit, bro. And I know that like people, Chargers fans don't love him. But like he was in the middle and guys were like, oh yeah, we're beating him up.
Dude, he was getting ragdolled by the V of the neck.
Bro, he's lucky he was on like the right side and ended up getting spit out of that car wash. But they really didn't like him. And, then he's walking out of the stadium like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like the guy totally blew his top. So probably a hollow man. He's not getting suspended, but still a hollow man. Rodney Harrison, hollow man. I have a lot of respect for Rodney Harrison. But after the game, I just believe in being positive. I mean, invariably, I get negative sometimes. But if I was at that desk, I wouldn't be trying to lead Chris Jones into shitting on Zach Wilson after he plays the best game of his career.
I must have shut it off because I shut it off
Kyle,
right after
it
this
was
happened.
It was uncomfy.
Can you tell me the rundown?
Somebody sent me Rodney Harrison interviewing Chris Jones at the podium afterwards. Chris Jones came out. By the way, his voice never ceases to amaze me.
Love Chris Jones.
It's like he's amazing.
Yeah,
So Chris Jones is out there talking to Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison's like, hey, man, when you're watching the tape, don't you think, like, not real good? And Chris Jones is like, actually, I think he's gotten a lot better, and I think he's great. And then I was like, yeah, that's bad, but not bad. What's all the fuss about? And then Rodney just takes another pass at it and another pass. And he was like, come on, man, be honest. He sucks. Like,
He said,
it was like,
he said he was garbage.
He threw
said this
garbage
guy's
out there.
garbage.
And Chris
Yikes.
Jones said Zach Wilson is special. You just have to give the guy time. And shout out to him
he
for
just
being
kept
positive.
killing him
He
with
was-
kindness.
I love Chris
That's
Jones.
awesome.
No, I mean, but that's great. Like, Hollow Man to, for Rodney.
And that's the NFL fraternity showing through. That's a guy who understands what Zach is going through, although he's never been in his shoes.
it's like 50-50.
We're all in the
Some
league,
guys
bro.
don't get it.
We're all in the league.
Yeah.
Have some perspective.
Yeah, and oftentimes on this show we fuck up. Players fuck up. But, generally I've never tried to lead somebody into like, especially on live TV, 4 negative questions. And I
Clout
think
is a
Rodney
hell of a drug
is
right now.
is a beast, dude. Rodney was a legend in New
Yeah.
England and a super cool guy, it seems like. but I just didn't get that one as Hollow Man for me. And I've shit on Zach
Journalism's
Wilson.
hard.
I've shit on Zach Wilson, but you don't try to bring somebody else into that.
It's the clicks, man.
Anyways.
It's the clicks.
Also, Al Michaels on Thursday night. I want to go way back. Great game, Lions, man. Like that.
I was gonna say, who played on Thursday? I forget.
It feels like 10 years ago. The Lions took care of business. That game, by the way, was almost like one of these games where you forget the Lions are good enough now that you forget that this is a big deal to them to win in Lambeau.
Buddy.
And it felt like a huge deal.
Buddy, that's it.
And they took care of business. Okay. But during the game, they're showing a graphic of it's Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, and they're on a Step Brothers t-shirt, basically, with the sweater vest and the whole thing. And they go back to the booth, and Al Michaels is like, and it looks like one of those high school pictures with Jared Goff and Dan Campbell. I'm like, Al, you've never seen Step Brothers. Incredible. What are we doing here?
Did you catch the? And I love Fitzpatrick, and I know that Bo's going to talk to him later.
Yeah.
I've said things in the media that has. I've gotten messages from players and stuff. Jared Goff goes to the desk, and he's like, "Not bad for." What did he say?
I don't know. I didn't see
God,
that.
what was the quote? He
Because
said
I had the under, so after the game,
he
I was
essentially
like,
got
"Fuck
called, like
a game manager.
poor man's
Yeah.
something. That was the verbiage. And it's too. I'm just
And
looking
who did
at
he say it to?
Jared Goff, Fitzpatrick.
He said it to Fitzpatrick.
So Jared Goff, he said it earlier in the week,
Yeah.
referencing Jared Goff's
Yeah.
style of
Yeah.
play. Jared Goff goes to the desk, and he pretty much calls him out. They had a good laugh, but it was really just two extremely large brains.
I love that. I love that.
I heard what you said.
And also,
I did hear that.
Jared Goff, we said it coming to the game. He's outside the top 32 when pressured in success rate. And then, when he's not pressured, he's lights out. And you thought going on the road, that front, the whole thing, he really made some big boy throws. That game was his best game all season, I felt like. So good for him.
They're built with a trench bully mentality.
The last Hollow Man, and I almost don't want to get you going, but Chase Claypool, man, like, just a disaster.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah, so we don't need to talk about it. Fly on the wall.
I think I was the last guy for the Chicago Bears told not to come to the game.
So he just took the mantle.
I'm serious. I'm glad it's not me anymore.
I'm serious. Thank you, Chase Claypool.
They were like,
How did that
STL
go?
Memorial
How did
Award.
that go?
I made the joke last week that I
Yeah.
couldn't get in the building with the keypad.
Yeah.
That's because they said don't come to the building.
Yeah.
Damn.
Threat detected.
So
Hey, you are a scary threat, though.
I'm a nice guy.
He is a nice guy. I can attest.
Hey, deactivate
Don't
his
Rodney
card
Harrison
right
me right now with Kyle.
Deactivate his card.
All right, so fly on the wall. I want to go Chargers PR team because I know they were crafting a fucking statement during that fourth down situation. They crafted it last week.
It's in the draft.
It's in the draft, so I know they have it. I just want to know what it reads. And then STL Memorial. Do you have fly on the wall, Kyle?
Yeah, I do. Fly on the wall will be Ryan Poles and Jeff King, the director of scouting. They kept cutting to them during the Bears game yesterday
What we
in the
talking
booth. And in the first half, they were just like elated.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I haven't heard from these guys, but I don't think that they think Justin Fields is the guy. And they know that. I think that they know that in the building. So yesterday you see Justin Fields go out, torching the defense. They're ecstatic. And then the second half.
Yeah.
I'd love to have been sitting there listening to what they had to say to one another. You can't help but be honest. You're all human. So in that position, they're going to be talking about things that they see. And what are they talking about? Eberflus? Are they talking about Fields? Are they talking about
Here's
Caleb Williams?
Here's a hot tip for Ryan Poles and whoever the fuck else you said, Kyle. When you're up multiple scores against the worst defense in the league, you think you could maybe figure out how to win that game?
Yeah.
Like as a team, okay? Like I know Justin Fields is taking some lumps. He should, but
not yesterday?
come on. Yeah, exactly. So if they're up there thinking like, oh, we're proven right based on the second half, no, your team sucks. And the coaching staff's not doing a good job. Okay, STL Memorial. It's a bit of a stretch, but I was watching Duke Notre Dame, and Riley Leonard looks like a really good quarterback, but he left the game on crutches. I don't know what the injury ended up being. He's the Duke quarterback. High ankle, which sucks, but could be worse.
Could be much worse.
Happy to see that. Guy would refuse to get the cart. Like, they had to bring crutches out for him. And I legitimately believe he's that kind of guy because during the game, they're panning to his mom. Seems like a lovely lady, and she has this wristband on that he also has on. And they pan in, they're like, and this is her "you suck" wristband. And I'm like, hey, you're gonna have to explain this one. He has one too. And I'm like, whoa. And they're like, Riley Leonard likes to stay humble. People have been praising him too much, so he asked his mom to keep him humble. So she got these "you suck" wristbands made. And of course, Waylon's watching the game with me, and he's like, I don't understand. And I'm like trying to change the subject because I'm like, yeah, it's hard to explain to a kid how that motivation might work.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, he's going to be playing on Sunday. Very next play, fumbles the fucking ball and then leaves on crutches. So I kind of jinxed him, but I think he's a pretty good player. And I think his mom has got the right idea. You got to be mean to your kids sometimes.
That's good.
Yeah.
And she does not have the X app.
No,
not on Twitter like a lot of these moms.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah,
You got anything for STL Memorial?
STL Memorial, I mean, got to be Justin Fields yesterday.
Yeah, nobody saw.
In a loss. And some people saw a lot of highlights, but what they haven't seen is what it's taken the last 13 games to get in position to win a game. You get in position to win a game against an inferior opponent, in my opinion, and you lose.
Almost been a calendar year, Kyle. And then lastly,
335, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 132.7 rating.
Yeah, dude, that should be enough to win.
You're eating dubs.
Lastly, best seat in the house. That's Donna Kelsey. I'm just going to rename the best seat in the house award to Donna Kelsey. She's hanging out with the State Farm guy. She's up there
and then getting on a quick flight, popping over to New York, hanging out with a whole box of people.
And she's got the...
Oh, it's this guy. Oh, hey, it's that. Oh, hey,
I
that movie.
likened her to experientially, not like in a Forrest Gump way, but like experientially, she's like Forrest Gump. In that
So many amazing things.
She's like, you go through Forrest Gump's life. He's everywhere. She's been everywhere. And then somebody's tagging me in like a New Heights comment section. Is like, haha, I loved when Chris called your mom Forrest Gump. I'm like, that's a little boiled down.
Yeah.
What I mean is Donna is doing everything. And last night it just continued. I think she's always got the best seat in the house. And she seems cool about it. She's never talking somebody's fucking ear off. She's never bothering Taylor Swift. She's just chill. People want to hang out with Donna Kelsey.
And the cool that you saw last night, Taylor went up to her. He just put her arm around her and was pointing stuff. Oh, yeah, you see that? Oh, hey, let me introduce you. This is cool. And Donna's like, yeah, hey.
I love it, dude. I fucking love it.
Best seat in the house, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Period.
He's walking out there
Looks
on
amazing.
crutches. He's supposed to be.
Looks great.
Should be in the
I
walk-in.
lonely.
room.
Hey, I saw him put the crutches
Google
in
Docs.
his armpits. He threw a ball.
Yeah.
The
Pre-game,
Google
I was
doctors, the Google online doctor says his injury at least 6 weeks in a boot. 2.5 weeks away, he's in an air cast walking with sneakers on.
Why do we assume
He's not walking.
Why do we assume that that's good though? Like that's the whole thing. It's like
What people don't understand is when you're injured, any opportunity you have to get out of the house, get out of your normal routine, you do it. But it's also a work day. So for Aaron Rodgers, being up on his feet, not elevating that Achilles,
that becomes a real thing.
moving around, he's gonna be sore tomorrow.
That becomes a real thing
Today.
No, honestly, after surgery, you're in that boot. Like,
yeah.
it's not just like go walk
Motion is lotion.
around. The like standing up kills you. All the blood's coming down in that thing. So, anyways, you know what I mean, Kyle. And then we've got the Little Caesars Monday Night Football preview after our game ball, which is obviously going to Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack, we loved him up earlier. We love the guy. Came out there, had a whole year worth of work for a good D lineman in the NFL. In
Deserves 12
day.
balls, right? For 6
Yeah,
sacks?
you're right. You're right. That's funny, Nate.
I was working on one of those earlier when I heard 6 sacks and I couldn't get it done.
You couldn't quite get it over the over the goal line there?
No, I didn't want to extend the ball.
Yeah.
Nice.
Game ball, Josh Allen, 84% completion, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 158.3 passer rating. I don't know what it goes up to.
Yeah.
That's got to be damn near perfect.
Yeah.
And in a game where we knew
I think
there
it was
was
perfect.
but in a game where we knew that there was going to be explosive firepower on offense.
Yeah.
Josh Allen just showed
Like the game of his life
superior weaponry.
because of the cleanliness of that explosive performance. Like he just cleaned up after himself. Like, he had a big party, cleaned up after himself, and the Bills are 3-1.
Like Taylor Swift in the suite.
Yeah.
At Arrowhead, just cleaning up.
I hope she picks up her trash. I think that's a big indication of your character is if you clean up after yourself in the suite.
Well,
Don't
everyone
leave
will
your
know
Pinot Grigio on the.
because MetLife is back on the stage again tonight for Monday night.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a dynamite. That's a dynamite intro into our Little Caesars Monday Night preview, and I just want to say this: I have a feeling that tonight's going to be a good night. If you're a Giants fan,
Okay.
I think the Giants are going to win tonight.
Tonight's gonna
it's
be
just the vibe I
a
have.
There were
good
vibes in the building last night,
Yeah.
and they couldn't capitalize.
No,
Maybe-
I think the Giants figure it out tonight, get a little bit better, even
Tonight's
without
the night.
Saquon. I don't think anybody's going to be on them. Maybe what's making me think this is the line is like 1.5. You're telling me, because home team gets a couple points. You're telling me that the Seattle Seahawks are only 1.5 better at a neutral site.
I got Seattle and the over.
Giants. You got Seattle on the over. I'd probably say right now I'm not going to bet it, but I bet you what I ended up doing is bet the Giants.
I'm not betting. I'm just saying it.
Yeah. The total's
Seattle,
47.
Anytime defensive touchdown. That's what I'm gonna bet tonight.
Jaron Reed, a sack tonight.
Ooh.
I'm just going to make that
Is that a
that
prop?
American Psycho face every time you guys.
Is that a prop, Chris? Jaron Reed,
Yeah.
sack?
Yeah, that is a prop bet.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
Shit.
We'll end it on Fax's viral moment.
Yeah, what's
yeah.
your viral moment, Facts?
I'm not doing shit today.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It's great.
That he walks out of Taylor Swift's fucking house?
You can't,
Downplay it.
yeah, you can't talk stuff into existence like that. It was
know.
it was a funny joke, but 6 for 60.
That's a good day at the ballpark for a lot of people. I'm sure they did some things to take him away.
Not when
How
you're
did he find a way to
superstar.
make fun of Travis?
Not when your superstar girlfriend who's taking up all the sunshine. That's embarrassing, bro. You ain't score. Your quarterback throws
It
two.
is
I went out with your quarterback's
I am
wife.
embarrassed for Travis
Bro,
Kelce.
I went out with your quarterback. I went out with your quarterback's wife the night before to give her some publicity, and you guys go out there and perform like that.
Yeah.
2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, you almost lost to Zach Wilson. Yikes!
Did you
man.
see that? There were 4 times where Taylor asked Brittany Mahomes, "Hey, why isn't Patrick throwing it to Travis and
See?
the other team?"
Did
See
they
that?
read lips
Not
on
actually,
that?
not actually.
Come
no.
on. This is just.
Man.
This is a clown show.
Maybe sneaky theory here. Patrick's secretly a huge Swiftie and was nervous that she was there. And after the game, maybe he's like, Travis, she can't be up there.
There's nobody happier about Taylor Swift's presence in the Chiefs football season than Patrick.
Patrick
It's
Mahomes.
me.
Genuine, like when he was like, oh, there she is.
Thank God.
Taylor Swift, I'm the problem. It's me.
So, he had planted his flag on this one. Watching the games yesterday, he's just loading.
Oh man,
up.
I can't wait to just bust
Yeah,
this
yeah.
out.
I'm just saying, you got to know. You got to know what comes with it. If they're both gonna buy into
I'm
it.
pulling the fire alarm in this show.
Great job, guys.
Hey,
Thanks to everyone.
everybody
for
have a
watching.
great week. Thanks for watching. Do an experiment where you go tell 5 people about our show. If you can
Yeah.
do that.
Oh, nice.
Hey, you know those
Yeah.
things on the internet? If you don't tell 5 people, you're going to die in a fire like next week. If you don't reshare this, to 5 of your friends, you're going to have terrible luck the rest of your life. If you don't tell 5 people about this show, your team's
Like
going to
walking
lose all
under
the
a
games.
ladder.
Yep, it's like walking under a
You're
ladder.
fucked.
Break in the mirror.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. See you next week.
Come on, Mitch.
I ain't got me nobody. I ain't had me no love.